recording on this computer. Fantastic. Henry IV, Part 2, Induction. Following the Battle of Shrewsbury, where King Henry and Prince Hal were victorious and Hotspur killed, rumor spreads the false information that Hotspur was the victor and the king and prince were killed. Induction. Enter Rumor, painted full of tongues.
Open your ears. For which of you will stop the vent of hearing when loud rumor speaks? I, from Orient to the drooping west, making the wind my post horse, still unfold the acts commenced on this ball of earth. Upon my tongue's continual slanders ride, the which in every language I pronounce, stuffing the ears of men with false reports. I speak of peace while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. And who but rumor, who but only I, make fearful musters and prepared defense, whiles the big year swollen with some other grief is thought with child by the stern tyrant war. And no such matter? Rumor is a pipe blown by surmises, jealousies, conjectures, and of so easy and so plain a stop that the blunt monster with uncounted heads, the still discordant, wavering multitude, can play upon it. But what need I thus my well-known body to anatomize among my household? Why is rumor here? I run before King Harry's victory, who in a bloody field by Shrewsbury hath beaten down young Hotspur and his troops, quenching the flame of bold rebellion, even with the rebels' blood. But what mean I to speak so true at first? My office is to noise abroad that Harry Monmouth fell under the wrath of noble Hotspur's sword, and that the king before the Douglas rage stooped his anointed head as low as death. This have I rumored through the peasants' towns, between that royal field of Shrewsbury and this worm-eaten hold of Raggedstone, where Hotspur's father, old Northumberland, lies crafty sick. The posts come tiring on, and not a man of them brings other news than they have learnt of me. From rumor's tongues they bring smooth comforts false, worse than true wrongs.
Rumor exits. Act 1, Scene 1. Northumberland, who had pleaded illness as an excuse for not appearing in the Battle of Shrewsbury, learns that his son, Hotspur, is dead and that King Henry's troops are up in arms. He throws away his crutch and prepares to do battle. Scene 1. Enter the Lord Bardolph at one door.
Who keeps the gate here? Oh!
Enter the porter.
What shall I say you are?
Where's the Earl? Sorry. Tell thou the Earl that the Lord Bardolph doth attend him here.
His lordship is walked forth into the orchard. Please it your honor knock but at the gate, and he himself will answer.
Enter the Earl Northumberland and his head wrapped in a kerchief and supporting him with a crutch.
Here comes the Earl.
Porter exits.
What news, Lord Bardolph? Every minute now should be the father of some stratagem. The times are wild. Contention like a horse, full of high feeding, madly hath broke loose and bears down all before him.
Is Timmy frozen?
I think Timmy might be frozen.
Oh, there he is.
I'm back. Noble Earl, I bring you certain news from Shrewsbury.
Good, and God will?
As good as heart can wish. The king is almost wounded to the death, and in the fortune of my lord your son, Prince Harry slain outright, and both the blunts killed in the hand of the Douglas. Young Prince John and Westmoreland and Stafford fled the field, and Harry Monmouth Sprawn, the Sir John, is prisoner to your son. Oh, such a day, so fought, so followed, and so fairly won, and came not till now to dignify the time since Caesar's fortune.
How is this derived? Saw you the field? Came you from Shrewsbury?
I spake with one, my lord, that came from thence, a gentleman well-bred and of good name, that freely rendered me these news for truth.
Enter Travers.
Here comes my servant Travers, who I sent on Tuesday last to listen after news.
My lord, I overrode him on the way, and he is furnished with no certainties more than he happily may retail from me.
Now, Travers, what good tidings comes with you?
My lord, Sir John Umfribble turned me back with joyful tidings, and being better horsed, outrode me. After him comes spurring hard a gentleman, almost forespent with speed, that stopped by me to breathe his bloodied horse. He asked the way to Chester, and of him I did demand what news from Shrewsbury. He told me that rebellion had bad luck, and that young Harry Percy's spur was cold. With that he gave his able horse the head, and bending forward, struck his armed heels against the panting sides of his poor jade. Up to the rowel head, and starting so, he seemed in running to devour the way, staying no longer question.
Again, said he young Harry Percy's spur was cold? Of Hotspur, Coldspur? That rebellion had met ill luck?
My lord, I'll tell you what, if my young lord your son have not the day, upon mine honor for a silken point, I'll give away my barony. Never talk of it.
Why should that gentleman that rode by Travers give them such instances of loss?
Who, he? He was some building fellow that has stolen the horse he rode on, and upon my life spoke at the venture.
Enter Morton.
Oh, it's still
Still
you.
you, Timmy.
Look, here comes more news.
Yea, this man's brow, like to a title leaf, foretells the nature of a tragic volume. So looks the strand whereon the imperious flood hath left a witness usurpation. Say, Morton, didst thou come from Shrewsbury?
I ran from Shrewsbury, my noble lord, where hateful death put on his ugliest mask to fright our party.
How doth my son and brother? Thou tremblest, and the whiteness in thy cheek is apter than thy tongue to tell thy errand. Even such a man, so faint, so spiritless, so dull, so dead in look, so woebegone, drew Priam's curtain in the dead of night, and would have told him half his Troy was burnt. But Priam found the fire ere he his tongue, and I my Percy's death ere thou reportest it. This thou wouldest say, your son did thus and thus, your brother thus, so fought the noble Douglas, stopping my greedy ear with their bold deeds. But in the end, to stop my ear indeed, thou hast decided to blow away this praise, ending with brother, son, and all are dead.
Douglas is living, and your brother yet, but for my lord your son.
Why, he is dead. See what a ready tongue suspicion hath. He that but fears the thing he would not know hath, by instinct, knowledge from others' eyes that what he feared is chanced. Yet speak, Morton. Tell thou an earl his divination lies, and I will take it as a sweet disgrace, and make thee rich for doing me such wrong.
You are too great to be by me gainsaid. Your spirit is too true, your fears too certain.
Yet, for all this, say not that Percy's dead. I see a strange confession in thine eye. Thou shakest thy head, and holdest it fear or sin to speak a truth. If he be slain, say so. The tongue offends not that reports his death, and he doth sin that doth belie the dead. Not he which says the dead is not alive. Yet the first bringer of unwelcome news hath but a losing office, and his tongue sounds ever as a sullen bell, remembered the tolling a departed friend.
I cannot think my lord your son is dead.
I am sorry I should force you to believe that which I would to God I had not seen. But these mine eyes saw him in bloody state, rendering faint rendering faint quittance, wearied and outbreathed to Harry Monmouth, whose swift wrath beat down the never-daunted Percy to the earth, from whence with life he never more sprung up. In few, his death, whose spirit lent a fire even to the dullest peasant in his camp, being brooded once, took fire and heat away from the best-tempered courage in his troops. For from his metal was his party steeled, which, once in him abated, all the rest turned on themselves, like dull and heavy lead. And as the thing that's heavy in itself upon enforcement flies with greatest speed, so did our men, heavy in Hotspur's loss, lend to this weight such lightness with their fear, that arrows fled not swifter toward their aim than did our soldiers aiming at their safety. Fly from the field! Then was that noble Worcester so soon ta'en prisoner, and that furious Scot, the bloody Douglas, whose well-laboring sword had 3 times slain the appearance of the king, gan veil his stomach and did grace the shame of those that turned their backs, and in his flight, stumbling in fear, was took. The sum of all is that the king hath won and hath sent out a speedy power to encounter you, my lord, under the conduct of young Lancaster and Westmoreland. This is the news at full.
For this I shall have time enough to mourn. In poison there is physic, and these news, having been well, that would have made me sick. Being sick, have in some measure made me well. And as the wretch whose fever-weakened joints, like strengthless hinges, buckle under life, impatient of his fit, breaks like a fire out of his keeper's arms, even so my limbs, weakened with grief, being now enraged with grief, are thrice themselves. Hence, therefore, thou nice crutch.
He throws down his crutch.
A scaly gauntlet now, with joints of steel, must glove this hand, and hence thou sickly coif.
He removes his kerchief.
Thou art a guard too wanton for the head, which princes flushed with conquest aim to hit. Now bind my brows with iron, and approach the raggedest hour that time and spite dare bring, to frown upon the enraged Northumberland. Let heaven kiss earth. Now let not nature's hand keep the wild flood confined. Let order die, and let this world no longer be a stage to feed contention in a lingering act. But let one spirit of the firstborn Cain reign in all bosoms, that, each heart being set on bloody courses, the rude scene may end, and darkness be the barrier of the dead.
This strained passion doth you wrong, my lord.
Sweet Earl, divorce not wisdom from your honor. The lives of all your loving complices lean on your health, the which of you give o'er to stormy passion must perforce decay. You cast the event of war, my noble lord, and summed the accompt of chance before you said, let us make head. It was your pre-surmise that in the dole of blows your son might drop. You knew he walked o'er perils on an edge, more likely to fall in than to get o'er. You were advised his flesh was capable of wounds and scars, and that his forward spirit would lift him where most trade of danger ranged. Yet did you say go forth, and none of this, though strongly apprehended, could restrain the stiff-born action. What hath then befallen, or what did this bold enterprise bring forth, more than that being which was like to be?
We all that are engaged to this loss knew that we ventured on such dangerous seas that if we wrought out life, 'twas 10 to 1. Yet we ventured, for the gain proposed choke this respect of likely peril feared. And since we are overset, venture again. Come, we will all put forth body and goods.
'Tis more than time, and my most noble lord, I hear for certain and dare speak the truth. The gentle Archbishop of York is up with well-appointed powers. He is a man who with a double surety binds his followers. My lord, your son had only but the corpse, but shadows and the shows of men to fight. For the same word rebellion did divide the action of their bodies from their souls, and they did fight with queasiness, constrained as men drink potions, that their weapons only seemed on our side. But, for their spirits and souls, this word rebellion, it had froze them up as fish are in a pond. But now the bishop turns insurrection to religion. Supposed sincere and holy in his thoughts, he's followed both with body and with mind, and doth enlarge his rising with the blood of fair King Richard, scraped from Pomfret stones. derives from heaven his quarrel and his cause, tells them he doth bestride a bleeding law, gasping for life under great Bolingbroke, and more and less do flock to follow him.
I knew of this before, but to speak truth, this present grief had wiped it from my mind. Go in with me and counsel every man the aptest way for safety and revenge. Get posts and letters and make friends with speed, never so few and never yet more need.
They exit. Act 1, Scene 2. Sir John Falstaff is confronted by the Lord Chief Justice. Since Falstaff has come away from Shrewsbury with the reputation of a warrior and has been commanded by the king to march to York to join Prince John, the Lord Chief Justice forbears to arrest him for the Gad's Hill robbery. Scene 2. Enter Sir John Falstaff with his page bearing his sword and buckler.
Sirrah, you giant, what says the doctor to my water?
He said, sir, the water itself was good, healthy water, but for the party that owed it, he might have more diseases than he knew for.
Men of all sorts take a pride to gird at me. The brain of this foolish compounded clay, man, is not able to invent anything that intends to laughter more than I invent, or is invented on me. I am not only witty in myself, but the cause that wit is in other men. I do here walk before thee like a sow that hath overwhelmed all her litter but one. If the prince put thee into my service for any other reason than to set me off, why then I have no judgment. Thou whoreson mandrake, thou art fitter to be worn in my cap than to wait at my heels. I was never manned with an agate till now, but I will inset you neither in gold nor silver, but in vile apparel, and send you back again to your master for a jewel. The Juvenel, the prince, your master, whose chin is not yet fledged, I will sooner have a beard grow in the palm of my hand than he shall get one off his cheek, and yet he will not stick to say his face is a face royale. God may finish it when he will. 'Tis not a hair amiss yet. He may keep it still at a face royal, for a barber shall never earn sixpence out of it. And yet he'll be crowing as if he had writ man ever since his father was a bachelor. He may keep his own grace, but he's almost out of mine, I can assure him. What said Master Domilton about the Satan for my short cloak and my slops?
He said, sir, you should procure him better assurance than Bardolph. He would not take his band and yours. He liked not the security.
Let him be damned like the glutton. Pray God his tongue be hotter. Oh, horse and fuck me in the fucking face. Architophel, a rascally Archtophel. Yeah, I'll take it. A horse and Archtophel. I'll look it up later. A rascally, yea, forsooth, knave. A bear to gentlemen in hand, and then stand upon security. The horse and smoothie pates do now wear nothing but high shoes and bunches of keys at their girdles. And if a man is through with them in honest taking up, then they must stand upon security. I had as lief they would, but rat's bane in my mouth as offer to stop it with security. I looked he should have sent me 22 yards of satin, as I am a true Knigget, and he sends me security. Well, he may sleep in security, for he hath the horn of abundance, and the lightness of his wife shines through it, and yet cannot he see through his have his own lantern to light him. Where's Bardolph?
He's gone in Smithfield to buy your worship a horse.
I bought him in Paul's, and he'll buy me a horse in Smithfield, and I could get me but a wife in the stews. I were manned, horsed, and wived.
Enter Lord Chief Justice and servant. Sir, here comes the nobleman that committed the prince for striking him about Bardolph.
Wait close. I will not see him.
They begin to exit.
What's he that goes there?
I'll stop, ain't pleased your lordship.
He that was in question for the robbery?
He, my lord, but he hath since done good service at Shrewsbury, and as I hear, is now going with some charge to Lord John of Lancaster.
What? To York? Call him back again.
Sir John Falstaff!
Boy, tell him I am deaf.
You must speak louder. My master is deaf.
I'm sure he is to the hearing of anything good. Go pluck him by the elbow. I must speak with him.
Sir John!
What? A young knave and begging? Is there not wars? Is there not employment? Doth not the king lack subjects? Do not the rebels need soldiers? Though it be a shame to be on any side but one, it is worse shame to beg than to be on the worst side. Were it worse, then the name of rebellion can tell how to make it.
You mistake me, sir.
Why, sir, did I say you were an honest man, setting my knighthood and my soldiership aside? I had lied in my throat if I had said so.
I pray you, sir, then set your knighthood and your soldiership aside and give me leave to tell you you lie in your throat if you say I am any other than an honest man.
I give thee leave to tell me so. I lay aside that which grows to me. If thou gett'st any leave of me, hang me. If thou takest leave, thou wert better be hanged. You hunt counter. Hence, avaunt!
Sir, my lord would speak with you.
Sir John Falstaff, a word with you.
My good lord, God give your lordship good time of the day. I am glad to see your lordship abroad. I heard say your lordship was sick. I hope your lordship goes abroad by advice. Your lordship thought not clean past your youth, have yet some smack of an ague in you, some relish of the saltness of time in you, and I most humbly beseech your lordship to have a reverend care of your health.
Sir John, I sent for you before your expedition to Shrewsbury.
And please your lordship, I hear his majesty is returned with some discomfort from Wales.
I talk not of his majesty. You would not come when I sent for you.
This apoplexy, as I take it, is a kind of lethargy, and to please your lordship, a kind of sleeping in the blood, a whoreson tingling.
What tell you me of it? But it be as it is.
It hath its original from much grief, from study, and perturbation of the brain. I have read the cause of his effects in Galen. It is a kind of deafness.
I think you are fallen into the disease, for you hear not what I say to you.
Very well, my lord, very well. Rather, and please you, it is the disease of not listening, the malady of not marking, that I am troubled withal.
To punish you by the heels would amend the attention of your ears. And I hear not, and I care not if I do become your physician.
I am as poor as Job, my lord, but not so patient. Your lordship may minister the potion of imprisonment to me in respect of poverty, but how I should be your patient to follow your prescriptions, the wise may make some dram of a scruple, or indeed a scruple itself.
I sent for you when there were matters against you for your life, to come speak with me.
As I was then advised by my learned counsel in the laws of this land service, I did not come.
Well, the truth is, Sir John, you live in great infamy.
He that buckles himself in my belt cannot live in less.
Your knees are very slender, and your waist is great.
I would it were otherwise. I would by means were greater, and my waist slender.
You have misled the youthful prince.
The young prince hath misled me. I am the fellow with the great belly, and he my dog.
Well, I am loath to gall a new healed wound. Your day's service at Shrewsbury had a little gilded over your night's exploit on Gat Hill. You may thank the unquiet time for your quiet overposting that action.
My lord.
But since all is well, keep it so. Wake not a sleeping wolf.
To wake a wolf is as bad as to smell a fox.
What? You are as a candle, the better part burnt out.
Wassail candle, my lord. All tallow. If I did say of wax, my growth would approve the truth.
There is not a white hair in your face, but should have his effect of gravity.
His effect of gravy, gravy, gravy.
You follow the young prince up and down like his ill angel.
Not so, my lord, your ill angel is light. But I hope he that looks upon me will take me without weighing. And yet in some respects I grant I cannot go. I cannot tell. Virtue is of so little regard in these costermongers' times that true valor is turned bare-herd. Pregnancy is made a tapster, and hath his quick wit wasted in giving reckonings. All the other gifts appurtenant to man is the malice of this age shapes them are not worth a gooseberry. You that are old consider not the capacities of us that are young. You do measure the heat of our livers with the bitterness of your galls, and we that are in the voward of our youth, I must confess, are wags too.
You set down your name in the scroll of youth, or written down old with all the characters of age? Have you not a moist eye, a dry hand, a yellow cheek, a white beard, a diseasing leg, an increasing belly? Is not your voice broken, your wind short, your chin double, your wit single, and every part about you blasted with antiquity? And will you yet call yourself young? Fie, Sir John.
My lord, I was born about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with a white head and something around belly. For my voice, I have lost it with hollowing and singing of anthems. To approve my young further, I will not. The truth is, I am only old in judgment and understanding, and he that will caper with me for 1,000 marks, let him lend me the money, and have at him. For the box of the ear that the prince gave you, he gave it like a rude prince, and you took it like a sensible lord. I have checked him for it, and the young lion repents. Marry, not in ashes and sackcloth, but in new silk and old sack.
Well, God send the prince a better companion.
God send the companion a better prince. I cannot rid my hands of him.
Well, the king has severed you and Prince Harry. I hear you are going with Lord John of Lancaster against the Archbishop and the Earl of Northumberland.
Yea, I think you're pretty sweet wit for it. But look you, pray, all you that kiss my lady peace at home, that our armies join not in a hot day, for by the Lord I take but 2 shirts out with me, and I mean not to sweat extraordinarily. If it be a hot day and I brandish anything but a bottle, I would I might never spit white again. There is not a dangerous action can peep out his head, but I am thrust upon it. Well, I cannot last ever, but it was always yet the trick of our English nation, if they have a good thing, to make it too common. If you will needs say I am an old man, you should give me rest. I would to God my name were not so terrible to the enemy as it is. I were better to be eaten to death with a rust than to be scoured to nothing with perpetual motion.
Well, be honest, and God bless your expedition.
Will your lordship lend me £1,000 to furnish me forth?
Not a penny. You're too impatient to bear crosses. Very well. Command me to my cousin Westmoreland.
Lord Chief Justice and his servant exit.
If I do, fill up me with a 3-man beetle. A man can no more separate age and covetousness than he can part young limbs and lechery. But the gout galls the one and the pox pinches the other, and so both the degrees prevent my curses. Boy!
Sir?
What money is in my purse?
7 groats and 2 pence.
I can get no remedy against this consumption of the purse. Borrowing only lingers and lingers it out, but the disease is incurable.
Giving papers to the page.
Go! Bear this letter to my Lord of Lancaster, this to the Prince, this to the Earl of Westmoreland, and this to old Mistress Ursula, whom I have weakly sworn to marry since I perceived the first white hair on my chin. About it, you know where to find me.
Page exits.
Pox of this gout, or a gout of this pox, for the one or the other plays the rogue with my great toe. 'Tis no matter if I do halt, I have the wars for my color, and my pension shall seem the more reasonable. A good wit will make use of anything. I will turn diseases to commodity.
He exits. Act 1, Scene 3. At York, the Archbishop discusses with Mowbray, Hastings, and Lord Bardolph whether they can defeat the king's forces if their ally, Northumberland, whose forces are strongest, does not appear. After comforting themselves by observing that the king's army is divided as to fight on 3 fronts, they set out to win the common people to their cause. Scene 3. Enter the Archbishop of York, Thomas Mowbray, Earl Marshal, the Lord Hastings, and Lord Bardolph.
Thus have you heard our cause and known our means. And most noble friends, I pray you all speak plainly your opinions of our hopes. And first, Lord Marshal, what say you to it?
I well allow the occasion of our arms, but gladly would be better satisfied how in our means we should advance ourselves to look with forehead bold and big enough upon the power and puissance of the king.
Our present musters grow upon the file to 25,000 men of choice, and our supplies live largely in the hope of great Northumberland, whose bosom burns with an insensate fire of injuries.
The question then, Lord Hastings, standeth doth, whether our present 25,000 may hold a pet without Northumberland.
With him we may.
Yea, marry, there's the point. But if without him we be thought too feeble, my judgment is we should not step too far till we have his assistant by the hand. And in a theme so bloody-faced as this, conjecture, expectation, and surmise of aids uncertain should not be admitted.
'Tis very true, Lord Bardolph, for indeed it was young Hotspur's cause at Shrewsbury.
Was, my lord, who lined himself with hope, eating the air and promise of supply, flattering himself in the project of a power much smaller than the smallest of his thought, and so with the great imagination prospered to madmen, lead his powers to death, and winking leapt into destruction.
But by your leave, it never yet did hurt to lay down likelihoods and forms of hope.
Yes, if this present quality of war, indeed, the instant action, a cause on foot, lives so in hope, as in an early spring we see the peering buds which to prove fruit, hope gives not so much warrant as despair, that frosts will bite them. When we mean to build, we first survey the plot, then draw the model, and when we see the figure of the house, then must we rate the cost of the erection, which if we find outweighs ability, what do we then but draw anew the model in fewer offices, or at least desist to build at all? Much more in this great work, which is almost to pluck a kingdom down and set another one up, should we survey the plot of situation and the model, consent upon a sure foundation, question surveyors, know our own estate, how able such a work to undergo to weigh against his opposite, or else we fortify in paper and in figures using the names of men instead of men, like the one that draws the model of an house beyond his power to build it, who have to gives order and leaves his part created cause a naked subject to the weeping clouds and waste for churlish winters of tyranny.
Grant that our hopes, yet likely of fair birth, should be stillborn, and that we now possess the utmost man of expectation, I think we are a body strong enough, even as we are to equal with the king.
What, is the king but 25,000?
to us no more, nay, not so much, Lord Bardolph, for his divisions as the times do brawl are in 3 heads. 1, power against the French, and 1 against Glendower. Perforce a 3rd must take up us. So is the unfirm team in 3 divided, and his coffers sound with hollow poverty and emptiness.
That he should draw his several strengths together and come against us in full puissance need not to be dreaded.
If he should do so, he leaves his back unarmed, the French and Welsh, baying him at the heels. Never fear that.
Who is it like should lead his forces here?
The Duke of Lancaster and Westmoreland against the Welsh, himself and Harry Monmouth, but who is substituted against the French, I have no certain notice.
Let us on, and publish the occasion of our arms. The Commonwealth is sick of their own choice, their over-greedy love with surfeited and habitation, giddy and unsure hath he that buildeth on the vulgar heart. O thou fond many, with what loud applause didst thou beat heaven with the blessing Bolingbroke, before he was what thou wouldest have him be? And being now trimmed in thine own desires, thou beastly feeder art so full of him that thou provokest thyself to cast him up. So, thou common dog, didst thou disgorge thy glutton bosom of the royal Richard, and now thou wouldst eat thy dead vomit up, and housed to find it with what thrust is in these times? They that when Richard lived would have him die are now become enamored on his grave. Thou that threwest dust upon his goodly head when through proud London he came sighing on after the admired heels of Bolingbroke. Christ, criest now, O earth, yield us that king again, and take thou this. O thoughts of men accursed, past and to come seems best, things present worst.
Shall we go draw our numbers and set on?
We are time's subjects, and time bids be gone.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 1. Sir John is arrested for the debt he owes Mistress Quickly. He persuades her to drop the charges and to lend him an additional £10. Scene 1. Enter Hostess Quickly of the tavern with 2 officers, Fang and Snare, who lags behind. Master Fang, have you entered the action?
It is entered.
Where's your yeoman? Is't a lusty yeoman? Will he stand to it?
Sirrah, rare Snare.
Oh, Lord, ain't good, Master Snare.
Here.
Snare, we must arrest Sir John Falstaff.
Yea, good Master Snare, I have entered him and all.
It may chance cost some of us our lives, for he will stab.
Alas the day! Take heed of him. He stabbed me in mine own house, and that, most beastly, in good faith, he cares not what mischief he does. If his weapon be out, he will foin like any devil. He will spare neither man, woman, nor child.
If I can close with him, I care not for his thrust.
No, nor I neither. I'll be at your elbow.
And I but fist him once, he come but within my view.
I am undone by his going, I warrant you. He's an infinitive thing upon my score, good master. Fang, hold him sure. Good Master Snare, let him not escape. He comes continually to Pie Corner, saving your manhoods to buy a saddle. And he is indicted to dinner at the Lubber's Head in Lumbert Street, to Master Smooth's the silkman. I pray you, since my excoin is entered and my case so openly known to the world, let him be brought in to his answer. 100 mark is a long one for a poor lone woman to bear, and I have borne and have been fubbed off and fubbed off and fubbed off from this day to that day, that it is a shame to be thought on. There's no honesty in such dealing, unless a woman should be made an ass and a beast to bear every knave's wrong. Yonder he comes, and that errant malmsey-nosed knave, Bardolph, with him. Do your offices, Master Fang and Master Snare. Do me your offices. Enter Sir John Falstaff and Bardolph, and the page.
How now? Whose mare's dead? What's the matter?
Sir John, I arrest you at the suit of Mistress Quickly.
Away, Varley. Draw, Bardolph. Cut me off the villain's head. Throw the queen in the canal.
They draw. Throw me in the channel? I'll throw thee in the canal. Wilt thou dastardly rogue? Murder! Oh, thou honeysuckle villain, wilt thou kill God's officers and the kings? Oh, thou honeyseed rogue, thou art a honeyseed, a man queller and a woman queller.
Keep them off, Bardolph.
A rescue! A rescue!
Good people, bring a rescue or two. Thou what? What thou? Thou what? What ta? Do thou rogue, do thou hemp seed? Away, you scullion, you rampallion, you frustralion, I'll tickle your catastrophe. Enter Lord Chief Justice and his men.
What is the matter? Keep the peace here, ho.
Good, my lord, be good to me, I beseech you, stand to me.
How now, Sir John? What, are you brawling here? Does this become your place, your time and business? You should have been well on your way to York. Stand for him, fellow. Wherefore hast thou upon him?
Oh, my most worshipful lord, and please your grace, I am a poor widow in Eastcheap, and he is arrested my suit.
For what sum? For what sum?
It is more than for some, my lord, it is for all I have. He hath eaten me out of house and home, he hath put all my substance into that fat belly of his, but I will have some of it out again, or I will ride thee nights like the mare.
I think I am as like to ride the mare if I have any vantage of ground to get up.
How comes this, Sir John? Fie, what man of good temper would endure this tempest of exclamation? Are you not ashamed to enforce a poor widow to so rough a course to come by her own?
What is the gross sum that I owe thee?
Marry, if thou wert an honest man thyself, and the money too, thou didst swear to me upon a parcel gilt goblet, sitting in my dolphin chamber at the round table by a sea-coal fire upon Wednesday in Weeson week, when the prince broke thy head for liking his father to a singing man of Windsor, thou didst swear to me then, as I was washing thy wound, to marry me and make me thy lady thy wife. Canst thou deny it? Did not good wife Keach, the butcher's wife, come in then and call me Gossip Quickly, coming in to borrow a mess of vinegar, telling us she had a good dish of prawns, whereby thou didst desire to eat some, whereby I told thee they were ill for a green wound, and didst thou not, when she was gone upstairs, desire me to be no more familiarity with such poor people, saying that ere long they should call me madam? And didst thou not kiss me and bid me to fetch thee 30 shillings? I put thee now to thy book oath, deny it if thou canst.
My lord, this is a poor mad soul, and she says up and down the town that her eldest son is like you. She hath been in good case, and the truth is, poverty hath distracted her. But, for these foolish officers, I beseech you I may have redress against them.
Sir John, I am well acquainted with your manner of wrenching the true cause the false way. It is not confident brow, nor the throne of words that come with such more than impudent sauciness from you, can thrust me a level of consideration. You have, as appears to me, practiced upon the easy yielding spirit of this woman, and made her serve your uses both in purse and in person.
Yea, in truth, my lord.
Pray thee, peace. Pay her the debt you owe her, and unpay the villainy you have done with her. The one you may do with stirring money, and the other with current repentance.
My lord, I will not undergo this sneap without reply. You call honorable boldness impudent sauciness. If a man will make curtsy and say nothing, he is virtuous. No, my lord, my humble duty remembered, I will not be your suitor. I say to you, I do desire deliverance from these officers, being upon hasty employment in the king's affairs.
You speak as having power to do wrong, but answering the effect of your reputation, and satisfy the poor women.
Come hither, hostess.
He speaks aside to the hostess. Enter a messenger, Master Gower.
Now, Master Gower, what news?
The king, my lord, and Harry, Prince of Wales, are near at hand. The rest the paper tells.
As I am a gentleman,
Faith, you said so before.
I am a gentleman. Come, no more words of it.
By this heavenly ground I tread upon, I must faint upon both my plate and the tapestry of my dining chambers.
Glasses, glasses is the only drinking, and for thy walls a pretty slight drollery, or the story of the prodigal, or the German hunting and waterwork is worth 1,000 of these bed hangers and these fly-bitten tapestries. Let it be £10 if thou canst. Come, and 'twere not for thy humours. There's not a better wench in England. Go wash thy face and draw the action. Come, thou must not be in this humour with me. Dost not know me? Come, come, I know thou wast set on to this.
Pray thee, Sir John, let it be but 20 nobles. In faith, I am loath to pawn my plaint, so God save me. Ah.
Let it alone. I'll make other shift. You'll be a fool still.
Well, you shall have it, though I pawn my gown. I hope you'll come to supper. You'll pay me altogether.
Will I live? Go with her, Hook on, hook on.
Will you have Doll Tearsheet meet you at supper?
No more words. Let's have her.
Hostess, Fang, Snare, Bardolph, Page, and others exit.
I have heard better news.
What's the news, my good lord?
Where lay the king tonight?
At Basingstoke, my lord.
I hope, my lord, all's well. What is the news, my lord?
Come all his forces back?
No, 1,500 foot, 500 horse are marched up to my lord of Lancaster against Northumberland and the archbishop.
Comes the king back from Wales, my noble lord?
You shall have letters of me presently. Come, go along with me, good Master Gower.
My lord,
What's the matter?
Master Gower, shall I entreat you with me to dinner?
I must wait upon my good lord here. I thank you, good Sir John.
Sir John, you loiter here too long, being you are to take soldiers out in counties as you go.
Will you sup with me, Master Gower?
What foolish master taught you these manners, Sir John?
Master Gower, if they become me not, he was a fool that taught them me. This is the right fencing, Grace, my lord. Tap for tap, and so part fair.
Now the Lord lighten thee. Thou art a great fool.
They separate and exit. Act 2, Scene 2. Learning that Falstaff will be dining at that night in Eastcheap, Prince Hal and Poins decide to disguise themselves as waiters and observe him. Scene 2. Enter the prince and Poins.
For God, I am exceeding weary.
It's come to that? I had thought weariness durst not have attached one of so high blood.
Faith, it does me, though it discolors the complexion of my greatness to acknowledge it. Doth it not show vilely in me to desire small beer?
But why? A prince should not be so loosely studied as to remember so weak a composition.
Like then, my appetite was not princely got, for, by my troth, I do remember the poor creature's small beer. But indeed, these humble considerations make me out of love with my greatness. What a disgrace is it to me to remember thy name, or to know thy face tomorrow, or to take note how many pair of silk stockings thou hast. With these and those that were thy peach-colored ones, or to bear the inventory of thy shirts, as one for superfluity and another for use. But that the tennis court keeper knows better than I, for it is a low ebb of linen that with thee, when thou keep'st not racket there, as thou hast not done a great while, because the rest of the Low Countries have made a shift to eat up thy Holland. And God knows whether those that bawl out the ruins of thy linen shall inherit his kingdom. But the midwives say the children are not in the fault, whereupon the world increases and kindreds are mightily strengthened.
How ill it follows, as you have labored so hard, you should talk so idly. Tell me, how many good young princes would do so, with fathers being so sick as yours at this time is?
Shall I tell thee one thing, Poins?
Yes, faith, and let it be an excellent good thing.
I shall serve among wits of no higher breeding than thine.
Don't you? I stand the push for you. One thing that you will tell.
Mary, I tell thee, it is not meet that I should be sad, now my father is sick. Albeit I could tell to thee, as to one it pleases me, for fault of a better, to call my friend. I could be sad, and sad indeed too.
Very hardly, upon such a subject.
By this hand, thou thinkst me as far in the devil's book as thou and Falstaff for obduracy and persistency. Let the end try the man. But I tell thee, my heart pleads inwardly that my father is so sick, and keeping such vile company as thou art, hath in reason taken from me all ostentation of sorrow.
The reason?
What wouldst thou think of me if I should weep?
I think thee a most princely hypocrite.
It would be every man's thought, and thou art a blessed fellow to think as every man thinks. Never a man's thought in the world keeps the roadway better than thine. Every man would think me an hypocrite indeed. And what excites your most worshipful thought to think so?
Why? Because you have been so lewd and so much engraved to Falstaff.
And to thee.
By this light I am well spoke on. I can hear with mine own ears. The worst that they can say of me is that I am a second brother, and that I am a proper fellow of my hands. And those two things, I confess, I cannot help. But the mass. Here comes Bardolph.
Enter Bardolph and Page.
And the boy that I gave Falstaff, he had him from me Christian, and look if the fat villain have not transformed him ape.
God save your grace.
And yours, most noble Bardolph.
Calm your virtuous ass. You bashful fool, must you be blushing? Wherefore blush you now? What a maidenly man at arms are you become? Is it such a matter to get a pot of pots maidenhead?
He calls me in now, my lord, through a red lattice, and I could discern no part of his face from the window, and at last I spied his eyes, and methought he had made 2 holes with the ale's wife new petticoat, and so peeped through.
Has not the boy profited?
Away, you horse and upright rabbit, away.
Away, you rascally Althea's dream, away.
Instruct us, boy, what dream, boy?
Mary, my lord, Althea dreamt she was delivered of a firebrand, and therefore I call him her dream.
A crown's worth of good interpretation. There 'tis, boy.
He gives the page money.
Oh, that this good blossom could be kept from cankers. Well, there is 6pence to preserve thee.
He gives the page money.
And you do not make him be hanged upon you, the gallows shall have wrongs.
And how doth thy master, Bardolph?
Well, my good lord, he heard of your grace's coming to town. There's a letter for you.
He gives the prince paper.
Delivered with good respect. And how doth the Martlemas, your master?
In bodily health, sir.
Mary, the important part needs a physician, but that moves not him. Though that be sick, he dies not.
I do allow this Wen to be as familiar with me as my dog, and he holds his place, for look you how he writes.
He shows the letter to Poins, reads the superscription.
John Falstaff, Knight. Every man must know that as oft as he has occasion to name himself, even like those that are kin to the king, for they never prick their finger, but they say there's some of the king's blood split. How comes that? Says he that takes upon him not to conceive. The answer is as ready as Bower's cat. I am the king's poor cousin, sir.
Nay, they will be as kin to us, or they will fetch it from Japheth. But to the letter. Sir John Falstaff, Knight, to the son of the king nearest his father, Harry, Prince of Wales, greeting.
Why, this is a certificate.
Peace. I will imitate the honorable Romans in brevity.
He sure means brevity in breath, short-winded.
I commend me to thee, I commend thee, and I leave thee. Be not too familiar with Poins, for he misuses thy favors so much that he swears thou art to marry his sister Nell. Repent at idle times as thou mayest, and so farewell. Thine by yea and no, which is as much as to say as thou usest him. Jack Falstaff with my familiars, John with my brothers and sisters, and Sir John with all Europe.
My lord, I'll steep this letter in a sack and make him eat it.
That's to make him eat 20 of his words. But do you use me thus, Ned? Must I marry your sister?
God send the wench no worse fortune, but I never say so.
Well, thus we play the fools with the time, and the spirits of the wise sit in the clouds and mock us. Is your master here in London?
Yea, my lord.
Where's Supsy? Doth the old boar feed in old Frank?
At the old place, my lord, in Eastcheap.
What company?
Ephesians, my lord, of the old church.
Supped any women with him?
None, my lord, but old Mistress Quakely and Mistress Doll Tearsheet.
What pagan may that be?
A proper gentlewoman, sir, and a kinswoman of my master's.
Even such kin as the parish heifers are the town bull. Shall we steal upon them, Ned, at supper?
I am your shadow, my lord. I'll follow you.
Sirrah! You, boy, and Bardolph, no word to your master that I am yet come to town. There's for your silence.
He gives money.
I have no tongue, sir.
And for mine, sir, I will govern it.
Fare you well. Go.
Bardolph and Page exit.
This dull tear sheet should be some road.
I warned you, as common as the way between St. Albans and London.
How might we see Falstaff bestow himself tonight in his true colors and not ourselves be seen?
Put on 2 leathern jerkins and aprons, and wait upon him at his table as yours.
From a god to a bull, a heavy dissension. It was Job's case, from a prince to apprentice, a low transformation that shall be mine, for in everything the purpose must weigh with the folly. Follow me, Ned.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 3. Northumberland is persuaded by his daughter-in-law, Hotspur's widow, to abandon the other rebels. Scene 3. Enter Northumberland, his wife, and the wife to Harry Percy.
I pray thee, loving wife and gentle daughter, give even way unto my rough affairs. Put not you on the visage of the times, and be, like them, to Percy troublesome.
I have given over. I will speak no more. Do what you will, your wisdom be your guide.
Alas, sweet wife, my honor is at pawn, and but my going, nothing can redeem it.
Oh, yet for God's sake, go not to these wars. The time was, father, that you broke your word when you were. The time was, father, that you broke your word when you were more endeared to it than now. When your own Percy, when my heart's dear Harry, do many a northward look to see his father bring up his power, but he did long in vain. Who then persuaded you to stay at home? There were 2 honors lost, yours and your son's. For yours, the God of heaven brighten it. For it stuck upon him as the sun in the grey vault of heaven, and by his light did all the chivalry of England move to do brave acts. He was indeed the glass wherein the noble youth did dress themselves. He had no legs that practised not his gait, and speaking thick, which nature made his blemish, became the accents of the valiant. And those that could speak low and tardily would turn their own perfection to abuse to seem like him. So that in speech, in gait, in diet, in affections of delight, in military rules, in humors of blood, he was the mark and glass, copy and book that fashioned others. And him, oh wondrous him, oh miracle of man, him did you leave, second to none, unseconded by you, to look upon the hideous god of war in disadvantage, to abide a field where nothing but the sound of Hotspur's name did seem defensible. So you left him. Never, oh never do his ghost the wrong to hold your honor more precise and nice with others than with him. Let them alone. The marshal and the archbishop are strong. Had my sweet Harry had but half their numbers, today my eye, hanging on Hotspur's neck, have talked of Monmouth's grave.
Shrew your heart, fair daughter, you do draw my spirits from me with new lamenting ancient oversights. But I must go and meet with danger there, or it will seek me in another place and find me worse provided.
Oh, fly to Scotland, till that the nobles and the armed commons have their puissance made a little taste.
If they get ground and vantage of the king, then join you with them like a rib of steel to make strength stronger. But for all our loves, first let them try themselves. And did your son, he was so suffered, so came I a widow, and never shall have length of life enough to reign upon remembrance with mine eyes, that it may grow and sprout as high as heaven, for recordation to my noble husband.
Come, go in with me. 'Tis with my mind as with the tide swelled up unto his height, that makes us still stand running neither way. Fain would I go to meet the archbishop, but many thousand reasons hold me back. I will resolve for Scotland. There I am till time and vantage crave my company.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 4. At Mistress Quickly's Inn in Eastcheap, a fight erupts after Falstaff's ensign Pistol insults Doll Tearsheet. The disguised Prince Hal and Poins hear Falstaff's demeaning comments about them. Hal and Falstaff are summoned to the war. Scene 4. Enter Francis and another drawer.
What the devil hast thou brought there? Applejohns? Thou knowest Sir John cannot endure an Applejohn.
Mas, thou sayest too. The prince once set a dish of Applejohns before him and told him there were 5 more Sir Johns, and putting off his hat said, I will now take my leave of these 6 dry, round, old, withered knights. It angered him to the heart, but he hath forgot that.
Why then, cover and sit them down, and see if thou canst find out Sneak's noise. Mistress Tearsheet would fain hear some music. Dispatch. The room where they suit is too hot. They'll come in straight.
Enter Will.
Sirrah, here will be the prince and master Poins anon, and they will put on 2 of our jerkins and aprons, and Sir John must not know of it. Bardolph hath brought word.
By the mass, here will be old Eustace. It will be an excellent stratagem.
I'll see if I can find out Sneak.
He exits with the second drawer. Enter Hostess and Doll Tearsheet. In faith, sweetheart, methinks now you're in an excellent good temporality. Your pulsage beats as extraordinarily as heart would desire, and your color, I warrant you, is as red as any rose. In good truth, but in faith you have drunk too much canaries, and that's a marvelous searching wine, and it perfumes the blood ere one can say, what's this? How do you now?
Better than I was.
Why, that's well said. A good heart's worth gold. Lo, here comes Sir John. Enter Sir John Falstaff, singing.
When Arthur first in court, empty the Jordan.
Will exits.
Was a worthy king. How now, Mistress Doll?
Sick of clam, yea, in good faith. Calm, yea, in good faith.
So is all her sect, and they be once in a calm, they are sick.
A pox damn you. Nope.
A pox damn you, you muddy rascal. Is that all the comfort you gave me?
You make fat rascals, Mistress Doll.
I make them? Gluttony and diseases make them. I make them not.
If the cook helped to make the gluttony, you helped to make the diseases, Doll. We catch of you, Doll. We catch of you. Grant that, my poor virtue. Grant that.
Yea, joy, our chains and our jewels.
Your brooches, pearls, and ouches, for to serve bravely is to come halting off. You know, to come off the breach with his pike bent bravely, and to surgery bravely, to venture upon the charged chambers bravely.
Hang yourself, you muddy conger, hang yourself.
By my troth, this is the old fashion. You two never meet, but you fall to some discord. You are both, in good truth, as rheumatic as two dry toasts. You cannot one bear without another's confirmities. What the good year! One must bear, and that must be you. You are the weaker vessel, as they say, the emptier vessel.
Can a weak, empty vessel bear such a huge, full hogshead? There's a whole merchant's venture of Bordeaux stuff in him. You have not seen a hulk better stuff in the hold. Come, I'll be friends with thee, Jack. Thou art going to the wars, and whether I shall ever see thee again or no, there is nobody cares.
Enter drawer.
Sir, ancient pistols below and would speak with you. Hang him, you swaggering rascal! Let him not come hither. It is the foul-mouthed rogue in England.
If he swagger, let him not come near. No, by my faith, I must live among my neighbors. Oh, no swaggerers. I am in good name and fame with the very best. Shut the door. There comes no swaggerers here. I have not lived all this while to have you swaggering now. Shut the door, I pray you.
Dost thou hear, hostess?
Pray you pacify yourself, Sir John. There comes no swaggerers here.
Dost thou hear? It is mine ancient.
Tilly Valley, Sir John, ne'er tell me, and your ancient swaggerers come not into my door, as I was before Master Tissick of the Deputy to other day, and as he said to me, 'twas no longer ago than Wednesday last, in good faith, neighbor quickly, says he. Master Dumb, our minister, was by then. Neighbor quickly, he says, receive those that are civil for, said he. You are in an ill name. Now, he said so. I can tell whereupon. For, says he, you are an honest woman and well thought on, therefore take heed what guests you receive, says he. No swaggering companions. There comes none here. You would bless you to hear what he said. No, all no swaggerers.
He's no swaggerer, hostess, a tame cheater of faith. You may stroke him as gently as a puppy greyhound, will not swagger with a Barbary hen if her feathers turn back in any show of resistance. Call him up, drawer.
Drawer exits. Cheater? Call you him? I will bar no honest man to my house, nor no cheater. I do not love swaggering, by my troth. I am the worse when one says swagger. Feel, masters, how I shake. Look you, I warrant you.
So you do, hostess?
Do I? Yea, in very truth I do. And 'twere an aspen leaf, I cannot abide swaggerers. Enter ancient pistol, Bardolph and Page.
God save you, Sir John.
Welcome, ancient pistol. Here, pistol, I charge you with a cup of sack. Do you discharge up on mine hostess?
I will discharge upon her, Sir John, with 2 bullets.
She is pistol-proof. Sir, you shall not hardly offend her.
Come, I'll drink no proofs nor no bullets. I'll drink no more than will do me good for no man's pleasure. Aye.
Then to you, Mistress Dorothy, I will charge you.
Charge me? I scorn you, scurvy companion. What, you poor, base, rascally, cheating, black linen mage? Away, you moldy rogue, away! I am meat for your master.
I know you, Mistress Dorothy.
Away, you cut purse rascal, you filthy bung, away! By this wine, I'll thrust my knife in your moldy chaps, and you play the saucy cuddle with me. Away, you bottle ale rascal, you basket hill stale juggler, you! Since when, I pray you, sir? God's light with 2 points on your shoulder, much!
God let me not live, but I will murder your rough for this.
No more, Pistol. I would not have you go off here. Discharge yourself of our company, Pistol.
No, good Captain Pistol, not here, sweet Captain.
Captain? Abominable damn cheater, art thou not ashamed to be called captain? And captains were of my mind, they would truncheon you out for taking their times upon you before you have earned them. You, a captain, you slave for what? For tearing a poor horse rough in a bawdy house? He, a captain, hang him, rogue. He lives upon moldy stewed prunes and dried cakes. A captain? God's light, this vengeance will make the word as odious as the word occupy, which was an excellent word, good word before it was ill-sorted. Therefore, captains had need to look to it. Pray thee go down, good ancient.
Hark thee hither, Mistress Doll.
Not I. I tell thee what, Corporal Bardolph, I could tear her. I'll be revenged of her.
Pray thee, go down.
I'll see her damned first to Pluto's damned lake, by this hand to the infernal deep with Erebus and tortures vile also. Hold hook and line, I say. Down, down, dogs, down, fates. Have we not Hiram here?
He draws his sword. Good Captain, be still, be quiet. 'Tis very late. Faith, I beseech you now, aggravate your choler.
These be good humors indeed. Shall pack horses and hollow pampered jades of Asia, which cannot go but 30 miles a day, compare with Caesars and with cannibals and Troyant Greeks? Nay, rather damn them with King Cerberus and let the welkin roar. Shall we fall foul for toys?
By my troth, Captain, these are very bitter words.
Be gone, good ancient. This will grow to a brawl anon.
Die men like dogs, give crowns like pins. Have we not Hiram here?
Oh, my word, Captain, there's none such here. What the good year, do you think I would deny her? For God's sake, be quiet.
Then feed and be fat, my fair Calipolis. Come, give some sack. Si fortune me tormente, separato me contento. Fear we be broadsides? No, let the fiend give fire. Give me some sack, and sweetheart, lie thou there. Come we to full points here, and our et ceteras nothings.
Pistol, I would be quiet.
Sweet night, I kiss thy knee. What, we have seen the 7 stars.
For God's sake, thrust him downstairs. I cannot endure such a Fuchsian rascal.
Thrust him downstairs? Know we not Galloway nags?
Quoit him down, Bardolph, like a shove-groat shilling. Nay, and he do nothing but speak nothing. He shall be nothing here.
Come, get you downstairs.
Taking up his sword.
What shall we have? Incision? Shall we imbue? When death rock me asleep, abridge my doleful days. Why then, let grievous, ghastly, gaping wounds untwine the sisters 3. Come, Atropos, I say.
Here's goodly stuffed word.
Give me my rapier, boy.
I pray thee, Jack, I pray thee, do not draw.
Get you downstairs.
They fight. Here's a goodly tumult. I'll forswear keeping house afore I'll be in these tirets and frights. So murder, I warrant now, unless I put up your naked weapons and put up your naked weapons. Bardolph and Pistol exit.
I pray thee, Jack, be quiet, the rascal's gone. You whoreson little valiant villain, you.
Are you not hurt in the groin? Methought he made a shrewd thrust at your belly. Enter Bardolph.
Have you turned him out of doors?
Yea, sir, the rascal's drunk. You've hurt him, sir, in the shoulder.
Rascal to brave me.
Ah, you sweet little rogue, you. Alas, poor ape, how thou sweatest. Come, let me wipe thy face. Come on, thou horse on chops. Ah, rogue in faith, I love thee. Thou art as valorous as Hector of Troy, worth 5 of Agamemnon, and 10 times better than the 9 worthies. Ah, villain.
Ah, rascally slave. I will toss the rogue in a blanket.
Do, and thou darest for thy heart, and thou dost, I'll canvas thee between a pair of sheets.
Enter musicians and Francis. The music has come, sir.
Let them play. Play, sirs. Sit on my knee, doll, a rascal bragging slave. The rogue fled from me like quicksilver.
In faith, and thou followest him like a church, thou whoreson little tidy Bartholomew Borg pig. When will thou leave fighting a days and fawning a nights and begin to patch up thine old body for heaven?
Enter behind them Prince and Poins disguised.
Peace, good doll. Do not speak like a death's head. Do not bid me remember mine end.
Sirrah, what humor is the prince of?
A good, shallow young fellow. He would have made a good pantler. He would a chip bred well.
They say Poins has a good wit.
He a good wit? Hang him, baboon. His wit's as thick as Tewkesbury mustard. There's no more conceit in him than is in a mallet.
Why does the prince love him so then?
Because their legs are both of a bigness, and he plays at quoits well and eats conger and fennel and drinks off candles ends for flapdragons and rides the wild mare with the boys and jumps up on joint stools and swears with a good grace and wears his boots very smooth like unto the sign of the leg and breeds no bait with telling of discreet stories and such other gambol faculties he has that show a weak mind and an able body for the which the prince admits him. For the prince himself is such another. The weight of a hair will turn the scales between their avoid you. Nope, we're looking up this word here. I don't want to fuck this up. Avoirdupois. Avoirdupois? Okay, it means weight, heaviness. Scales between their avoirdupois.
But not this knave of a wheel have his ears cut off?
Let's beat him before he is hoar.
Look where the withered elder hath not his poll clawed like a parrot.
Is it not strange that desires so many years outlive performance?
Kiss me, doll.
Saturn and Venus this year in conjunction. What says the almanac to that?
And look whether the fairy Trigon, his man, be not lisping to his master's old table, his notebook, his counsel keeper.
Thou dost give me flattering busses.
Oh, by my troth, I kiss thee with the most constant heart. John?
Oh, sorry.
Jack?
Yeah, I got you. I am old. I am old.
I love thee better than I love a scurvy young boy of them all.
What stuff wilt thou have a curdle of? I shall receive money or Thursday. Thou shalt have a cap tomorrow. A merry song come. It grows late. Jesus. Will to bed. Thou'll forget me when I am gone.
By my troth, thou set me a weeping, then thou say'st so. Prove that ere I dress myself handsome till thy return. Well, hearken to the end.
some sack, Francis.
Anon, sir.
Ah, a bastard son of the king's, and art not thou Poins his brother?
Why, thou globe of sinful continents, what a life dost thou lead?
A better than thou. I am a gentleman. Thou art a drawer. A
Very true.
drawer.
Very true, sir, and I come to draw you out by the ears.
Oh, the Lord preserve thy good grace, by my troth. Welcome to London. Now the Lord bless that sweet face of thine. Oh, Jesu, are you come from Wales?
Thou horse and mad compound of majesty, by this light flesh and corrupt blood, thou art welcome.
How, thou fat fool, I scorn you.
Lord, he will drive you out of your revenge and turn all to a merriment if you take not that heat.
You whoreson Candleman, you, how vilely did you speak of me, even now before this honest, virtuous, civil gentlewoman?
God's blessings of your good heart, and so she is, by my troth.
Didst thou hear me?
Yea, and you knew me as you did when you ran away by Gad's Hill. You knew I was at your back and spoken on purpose to try my patience.
No, 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 not so. I did not think thou wast within hearing.
I shall drive you then to confess the willful abuse, and then I know how to handle you.
No abuse, Hal. Oh, mine honor, no abuse.
Not to dispraise me and call me pantler and bread chipper and I know not what.
No abuse, Hal.
No abuse?
No abuse, Ned. In the world, honest Ned, none. I dispraised him before the wicked, that the wicked might not fall in love with thee, in which doing I have not done the part of a careful friend and a true subject, and thy father is to give me thanks for it. No abuse, Hal. None, Ned, none. No, Faith, boys, none.
See now whether pure fear and entire cowardice doth not make thee wrong this virtuous gentlewoman to close with us. If she is of the wicked, is thine hostess here of the wicked? Or is thy boy of the wicked? Or honest Bardolph, whose zeal burns in his nose, of the wicked?
Answer, thou dead elm, answer.
The fiend hath pricked down Bardolph irrecoverable, and his face is Lucifer's privy kitchen, where he doth nothing but roast malt worms. For the boy, there is a good angel about him, but the devil blinds him too.
For the women?
For one of them, she's in hell already and burns poor souls. For the other, I owe her money, and whether she be damned for that I know not.
No, I warrant you.
No, I think thou art not. I think thou art quit for that. Mary, there is another indictment upon thee for suffering flesh to be eaten in thy house contrary to the law, for the which I think thou wilt howl.
Oh, victuals do so. What's a joint of mutton or two in a whole Lent?
You, gentlewoman.
What says your grace?
His grace says that which his flesh rebels against.
Pedo knocks at door. Who knocks so loud at door? Look to the door there, Francis. Francis exits. Enter Peto.
Petto, how now, what news?
The king, your father, is at Westminster, and there are 20 weak and wearied posts come from the north. As I came along, I met and overtook a dozen captains, bareheaded, sweating, knocking at the taverns, and asking everyone for Sir John Falstaff.
By heaven's points, I feel me much to blame so idly to profane the precious time when tempest of commotion like the south, born with black vapor, doth begin to melt and drop upon our bare unarmed heads. Give me my sword and cloak. Falstaff, good night.
Prince, Peto, and Poins exits.
Now comes in the sweetest morsel of the night, and we must hence and leave it unpicked.
Knocking, Bardolph exits.
More knocking at the door?
Bardolph returns.
Oh no, what's the matter?
You must away to court, sir, presently. A dozen captains stay at door for you.
Play the musicians, Thera. Farewell, hostess, farewell, doll. You see, my good wenches, how men of merit are sought after. The undeserver may sleep when the man of action is called on. Farewell, good wenches. If I be not sent away post, I will see you again ere I go.
I cannot speak if my heart be not ready to burst. Well, sweet Jack, have a care of thyself.
Farewell. Farewell.
He exits with Bardolph, page, and musicians. Fare thee well, fare thee well. I have known thee these 29 years, come peace-cod time, but an honester and truer-hearted man, well, fare thee well.
Mistress Tearsheet,
What's the matter?
bid Mistress Tearsheet come to my master.
Oh, run, doll, run, good doll. Come. She comes blubbered, yea. Will you come, doll? They exit. Act 3, Scene 1. I think there are only 2 in this, so we'll read that and then we'll break. An ill and anxious King Henry IV consults with Warwick. Scene 1. Enter the king in his nightgown with a page. Go the Earls of Surrey and of Warwick, but ere they come, bid them overread these letters, and well consider them. Make good speed. Page exits. How many thousand of my poorest subjects are at this hour asleep? Oh, sleep. Oh, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse. How have I frighted thee, that thou no more wilt weigh my eyelids down and steep my senses in forgetfulness? Why, rather sleep liest thou in smoky cribs upon uneasy pallets stretching there, and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber, than in the perfumed chambers of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sound of sweetest melody. O thou dull god, why liest thou with the vile in loathsome beds, and leavest the kingly couch a watch case or a common alarm bell? Wilt thou, upon the high and giddy mast, seal up the shipboy's eyes and rock his brains in cradle of the rude imperious surge, and in the visitation of the winds, who take the ruffian billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them, with deafening clamor in the slippery clouds, that with the hurly death itself awakes? Canst thou, O partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances that means to boot, deny it to a king? Then happy, low, lie down, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Enter Warwick Surrey and Sir John Blunt.
Many good morrows to your majesty.
Is it good morrow, lords?
'Tis 1 o'clock and past.
Why then, good morrow to you all, my lords. Have you read o'er the letter I sent you?
We have, my liege.
Then you perceive the body of our kingdom, how foul it is, what rank diseases grow, and with what danger near the heart of it.
It is but as a body yet distempered, which to his former strength may be restored with good advice and little medicine. My lord Northumberland will soon be cooled.
Oh God, that one might read the book of fate and see the revolution of the times, make mountains level, and the continent, weary of solid firmness, melt itself into the sea, and other times to see the beachy girdle of the ocean, too wide for Neptune's hips, how chance mocks and changes the cup of alteration with divers liquors. Oh, if this were seen, the happiest youth viewing his progress through, what perils past, what crosses to ensue, would shut the book and sit him down and die. 'Tis not 10 years gone since Richard and Northumberland, great friends, did feast together, and in 2 years after were they at wars. But it is but 8 years since this Percy was the man nearest to my soul, who like a brother toiled in my affairs, and laid his love and life under my foot. Yea, for my sake, and even to the eyes of Richard, gave him defiance. But which of you was by? You, cousin Neville, as I may remember, when Richard, with his eye brimful of tears, then checked and rated by Northumberland, did speak these words now prove to prophecy? Northumberland, thou ladder by the which my cousin Bolingbroke ascends the throne. Though then, God knows, I had no such intent, but that necessity so borrowed the state, and that I and greatness were compelled to kiss, The time shall come, thus did he follow it, the time will come that foul sin gathering head shall break into corruption. So went on, foretelling this same time's condition and the division of our amity.
There is a history in all men's lives, figuring the natures of the time deceased, the which observed, a man may prophesy, with the near aim of the main chance of things, and yet not come to life, who in their seeds and weak beginning lie in treasured. Such things become the hatch and brood of time, and by the necessary form of this, King Richard might create a perfect guess that great Northumberland, then false to him. Would of that seed grow to a greater falseness, which should not find a ground to root upon unless on you.
Are these things then necessities? Then let us meet them like necessities. And that same word even now cries out on us. They say the bishop in Northumberland are 50,000 strong.
Cannot be, my lord. Rumor doth double like the voice and echo. The numbers of the feared. Please it your grace to go to bed. Upon my soul, my lord, the powers that you already have sent forth shall bring this prize in very easily. To comfort you the more, I have received a certain instance that Glendower is dead. Your majesty hath been this fortnight ill, and these unseasoned hours perforce must add unto your sickness.
I will take your counsel. And were these inward wars once out of hand, we would, dear lords, unto the Holy Land. They exit. Act 3, Scene 2, loading. On his journey through Gloucestershire, Falstaff selects recruits for the army and decides that, on his return, he will fleece his old friend Justice Shallow. Scene 2, enter Justice Shallow and Justice Silence.
Come on, come on, come on. Give me your hand, sir, give me your hand, sir, and early stirrer by the road. And how doth my good cousin Silence?
Tomorrow, good cousin Shalom.
And how doth my cousin your bedfellow? And your fairest daughter and mine, my god-daughter Ellen?
Alas, a black also, cousin Shallow.
Yeah. By yeah and no, sir. I dare say my cousin William is become a good scholar. He is at Oxford still, is he not?
Indeed, sir, to my cost.
He must then to the inns o' court shortly. I was once of Clement's Inn, where I think they will talk of Mad Shallow yet.
You were called the lusty Shallow then, cousin.
By the mass I was called anything, and I would have done anything indeed too, and roundly too. There was I and Little John Dewett and Staffordshire and Black George Barnes and Francis Pigbone and Will Squeal and Cotswold Man. You had not four such switchbucklers in all the inns of court again, and I may say to you, we knew where the Bonarobas were and had the best of them all at commandment. Then was Jack Falstaff, now sir, John, a boy, and page to Thomas Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk.
This Sir John, cousin, that comes hither anon about soldiers?
The same Sir John, the very same. I see him break Scoggins' head at the court gate, and when he was a crack not thus high, the very same day did I fight with one Samson Stockfish, a fruiterer, behind Gray's Inn. Jesu, the mad days that I have spent, and to see how many of my old acquaintance are dead.
We shall all follow, cousin.
Certain, 'tis certain, very sure, very sure. Death, as the psalmist saith, is certain to all. All shall die. How a good yoke of bullocks at Stamford Fair.
By my troth, cousin, I was not there.
Death is certain. Is old Double of your town living yet?
Dead, sir.
Jesu, dead? He drew a good bow and dead? He shot a fine shot. John of Gaunt loved him well and betted much money on his head. Dead! He would have clapped in the clout at 12 score and carried you aforehand a shaft of 14 and 14 and a half. That would have done a man's heart good to see. How a score of ewes now?
Thereafter, as they be, a score of good ewes may be worth 10 pounds.
And is old Double dead?
Here come two of Sir John Falstaff's men, as I think.
Enter Bardolph and one with him.
Good morrow, honest gentlemen.
I beseech you, which is Justice Shallow?
I am Robert Shallow, sir, a poor esquire of this county and one of the king's justices of the peace. What is your good pleasure with me?
My captain, sir, commends him to you, my captain. Sir John Falstaff, a tall gentleman by heaven and the most gallant leader.
He greets me well, sir. I knew him a good backsword man. I knew him a good backswordsman. How doth the good knight? May I ask how my lady his wife doth?
Sir, pardon, a soldier is better accommodated than with a wife.
It is well said, in faith, sir, and it is well said indeed, too. Better accommodated. It is good, yea, indeed it is it? Good phrases are surely and ever were very commendable. Accommodated, it comes of accommodo, very good, a good phrase.
Pardon, sir, I have heard the word. Phrase, you call it? By this day, I know not the phrase, but I will maintain the word with my sword to be a soldier-like word and a word of exceeding good command by heaven. Accommodated, that is when a man is, as they say, accommodated, or when a man is being whereby he may be thought to be accommodated, which is an excellent thing.
Enter Falstaff.
It is very just. Look, here comes good Sir John. Give me your good hand. Give me your worship's good hand. By my troth, you like well and bear your years very well. Welcome, good Sir John.
I am glad to see you well, good Master Robert Shallow. Master Shorecard, as I think?
No, Sir John. It is my cousin Silence, in commission with me.
Good Master Silence, it well befits you should be of the peace.
Your good worship is welcome.
Fie, this is hot weather, gentlemen. Have you provided me there 6 sufficient men?
Marry, have we, sir. Will you sit?
They sit at a table.
Let me see them, I beseech you.
Where's the roll? Where's the roll? Where's the roll? Let me see. So. Yea, marry, sir. Rafe Moldy. Let them appear as I called. Let them do so.
Enter Moldy, followed by Shadow, Wart, Feeble, and Bullcalf.
Let me see. Where is Moldy?
Here.
No, sir.
Here and please at you.
Well, thank you, Sir John. A good-limbed fellow, young, strong, and of good friends.
Is thy name Moldy?
Yea, and please you.
'Tis the more time thou wert used.
Most excellent, I faith. Things that are moldy lack use. Very singular good in faith. Well said, Sir John. Very well said.
Trick him.
Shallow marks the scroll. I was pricked well enough before, and you could have let me alone. My old dame will be undone now for one to do her husbandry and her drudgery. You need not to have pricked me. There are other men fairer to go out than I.
Go to. Peace, Moldy, you shall go. Moldy, it is time you are spent.
Spent?
Peace!
Fellow, peace. Stand aside. Know you where you are. For the other Sir John, let me see. Simon Shadow.
Yea, Mary, let me have him to sit under. He's like to be a cold soldier.
Where's Shadow?
Coming forward.
Here, sir.
Shadow, whose son art thou?
My mother's son, sir.
Thy mother's son like enough in thy father's shadow. So the son of the female is the shadow of the male. It is often so indeed, but much of the father's substance.
Do you like him, Sir John?
Shadow will serve for summer. Prick him, for we have a number of shadows to fill up the muster book.
Thomas Wart!
Where is he?
Coming forward.
Here, sir.
Is thy name Wart?
Yea, sir.
Thou art a very ragged wart.
Shall I prick him down, Sir John?
It were superfluous, for his apparel is built upon his back, and the whole frame stands upon pins. Prick him no more.
You can do it, sir. You can do it. I commend you well. Francis Feeble!
Coming forward.
Here, sir.
What trade art thou, Feeble?
A woman's tailor, sir.
Shall I prick him, sir?
You may, but if he had been a man's tailor, he'd have pricked you. Wilt thou make as many holes in an enemy's battle as thou hast done in a woman's petticoat?
I will do my good will, sir. You have no more.
Well said, good woman's tailor, well said. Courageous Feeble, thou wilt be as valiant as the wrathful dove or most magnanimous mouse. Prick the woman's tailor well, Master Shallow. Deep, Master Shallow.
I would work might have gone, sir.
I would thou wert a man's tailor, that thou mightst mend him and make him fit to go. I cannot put him to a private soldier that is the leader of so many thousands. Let that suffice, most forcible Feeble.
I shall suffice, sir.
I am bound to thee, Reverend Feeble. Who is the next?
Peter Bullcalf of the Green.
Yea, Mary, let's see Bullcalf.
Coming forward.
Here, sir.
For God, the likely fellow. Come, prick me, Bullcalf, till he roar again.
Oh, Lord. Good, my Lord, Captain.
What dost thou roar before thou art pricked?
Oh, Lord, sir, I am a diseased man.
What disease hast thou?
Horse and cold, sir, a cough, sir, which I caught with ringing in this king's affair upon his coronation day, sir.
Come, thou shalt go to the wars in a gown. We will have away thy cold, and I will take such order that thy friend shall ring for thee. Is here all?
Here is 2 more called than your number. You must have but 4 here, sir, and so I pray you go in with me to dinner.
Come, I will go drink with you, but I cannot tarry dinner. I am glad to see you, by my troth, Master Shallow.
Oh, Sir John, do you remember since we lay all night in the windmill in St. George's Field?
No more of that, good Master Shallow, no more of that.
Ha! 'Twas a merry night, and is Jane Nightwork alive?
She lives, Master Shallow.
She never could away with me.
Never, never. She would always say she could not abide, Master Shallow.
By the mass, I could anger her to the heart. She was then a Bonaraba. Doth she hold her own well?
Old, old Master Shallow.
Nay, she must be old. She cannot choose but be old. Certain she's old and had Robin Nightwork by old Nightwork before I came to Clements Inn.
That's 55 years ago.
Ha! Cousin Silence, that thou hadst seen that this night and I have seen. Ha! Sir John, said I well.
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Master Shallow.
That we have, that we have, that we have. In faith, Sir John, we have. Our watchword was, "Hem, boys! Come, let's to dinner. Come, let's to dinner." Jesus, the days that we have seen. Come, come!
Shallow, Silence, and Falstaff rise and exit.
Good Master Corporate Bardolph, stand my friend, and here's 4 hairy 10 shillings in French crowns for you. He gives Bardolph's money. In very truth, sir, I had as lief be hanged, sir, as go, and yet for mine own part, sir, I do not care, but rather because I'm unwilling, and for mine own part, I have a desire to stay with my friends. Else, sir, I do not care for my own part so much. That's the go to stand aside.
And good master corporal captain, for my old dame's sake, stand friend. She has nobody to do anything about her when I am gone, and she is old and cannot help herself. You shall have 40, sir. He gives money.
Go to stand aside.
But I troth, I care not. A man can die but once. We all got a debt. I'll never bear a base mind, and be in my destiny so, and be not so. No man's good. No man's too good to serve prince. And let it go which way it will. He that dies this year is quit for the next.
Well said. Tart a good for a fellow.
Faith, I'll bear no base mind.
Enter Falstaff and the justices.
Come, sir, which men shall I have?
Or of which you please.
Sir, a word with you. I have 3 pounds to free Moldy and Bull Calf.
Go to, well,
Come, Sir John, which 4 will you have?
do you choose for me?
Marry, then. Moldy, Bullcalf, Feeble, and Shadow.
Moldy and Bullcalf, for you, Moldy, stay at home till you are past service, and for your part, Bullcalf, grow till you come unto it. I will none of you.
Moldy and Bullcalf exit.
Sir John, do not yourself wrong. They are your likeliest men, and I would have you served with the best.
Will you tell me, Master Shallow, how to choose a man? Care I for the limb, the thews, the stature, bulk, and big semblance of a man? Give me the spirit, Master Shallow. Here's wart. You see what a ragged appearance it is. Here he shall charge you and discharge you with the motion of a pewterer's hammer. Come off and on swifter than he that gibbets on the brewer's bucket. And this same half-faced fellow, Shadow, give me this man. He presents no mark to the enemy. The foeman may with hit as great aim level at the edge of a penknife. And for a retreat, how swiftly will this feeble, the woman's tailor run off. Oh, give me the spare men and spare me the great ones. Put me a caliver into Wart's hand, barred off.
Giving Wart a musket.
Hold, Ward. Traverse. Fast.
Come, manage me your caliver. So, very well. Go to. Very good. Exceeding good. Oh, give me always a little lean, old, chopped, bald shot. Well said, i'faith. Wart, thee art a good scab. Hold, there's a tester for thee.
Gives Wart money.
He is not his craft's master. He doth not do it right. I remember at Mildend Green, when I lay at Clement's Inn, I was then Sir Dagonet in Arthur's show. There was a little quiver fellow, and he would manage you his piece thus.
Shallot performs with the musket.
And he would about, and come you in. Ratata, would he say. Bounce, would he say, and away again would he go. And again would he come, I shall ne'er see such a fellow.
These fellows will do well, Master Shallow. God keep you, Master Silence. I will not use many words with you. Fare you well, gentlemen, both. I thank you. I must a dozen mile tonight. Bard off, give the soldiers coats.
Sir John, the Lord bless you. God prosper your affairs. God send us peace. At your return, visit our house. Let our old acquaintance be renewed. Peradventure, I will with you to the court.
For God, would you, Master Shallow?
Go to. I have spoke at a word. God keep you.
Fare you well, gentle gentlemen.
Shallow and Silence exit.
On, Bardolph. Lead them in a way.
All but Falstaff exit.
As I return, I will fetch off these justices. I do see the bottom of Justice Shallow. Lord, Lord, how subject we old men are to this vice of lying. This same starved justice hath done nothing but prate to me of the wildness of his youth, and the feats he hath done about Turnbull Street, and every third word a lie, duer paid to the hearer than the Turk's tribute. I do remember him at Clement's Inn, like a man made after a supper of cheese paring. When he was naked, he was, for all the world, like a forked radish with a head fantastically carved upon it with a knife. He was so forlorn that his dimensions to any thick sight were invincible. He was the very genius of famine, yet lecherous as a monkey, and the whores called him Mandrake. He came ever in the rear ward of the fashion and sung those tunes to the overscutched huswives that he heard the carmen whistle, and swore they were his fancies or his good nights. And now is this vice's dagger become a squire, and talks as familiarly of John Zagant as if he had been sworn brother to him. And I'll be sworn he ne'er saw him but once in the tilt yard, and then he burst his head for crowding among the marshal's men. I saw it and told John o' Gaunt he beat his own name, for you might have thrust him and all his apparel into an eel skin. The case of a treble hautboy was a mansion for him, a court. And now has he land and beefs. Well, I will be acquainted with him if I return, and shall go hard, but I'll make him a philosopher's 2 stones to me. If the young dace be a bait for the old pike, I see no reason in the law of nature, but I may snap at him. Let time shape, and there an end.
He exits. Act 4, Scene 1. The leaders of the rebellion each reach Galtree Forest, where they present their grievances to Westmoreland. After Prince John promises redress for their grievances, the army of the rebellion is dismissed. John then arrests the Archbishop Mowbray and Hastings. Scene 1. Enter the Archbishop of York, Mowbray, Lord Bardolph, Hastings, and their officers within the forest of Galtree.
What is this forest called?
Is Galtree Forest, and it please your grace.
Here stands my lords, and send discoverers forth to know the numbers of our enemies.
We have set forth already.
'Tis well done. My friends and brethren in these great affairs, I must acquaint you that I have received new dated letters from Northumberland. Their cold intent, tenor, and substance thus. Here doth he wish his person with such powers as might hold certains with his quality, the which he could not levy, whereupon he is retired to ripe his growing fortunes to Scotland, and concludes in hearty prayers that your attempts may overlive the hazard and fearful meeting of their opposite.
Did we have a Mowbray?
I say.
That me?
Sure,
Thus-
Timmy.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's, thus do the hopes we have in him touch ground and dash themselves to pieces.
Enter Messenger.
Now what news?
West of this forest, scarcely off a mile, in goodly form comes on the enemy, and by the ground they hide, I just did a number upon or near the rate of 30,000.
Provost.
The just portion that we gave them out. Let us sway on and face them in the field.
Enter Westmoreland.
What well-appointed leader fronts us here?
I think it is my lord of Westmoreland.
Health and fair greeting from our general, the Prince Lord John and Duke of Lancaster.
Say on, my lord of Westmoreland, in peace. What doth concern your coming?
Then, my lord, unto your grace do I in chief address the substance of my speech. If that rebellion came like itself in base and abject routes, led on by bloody youth guarded with rage, and countenanced by boys and beggary, I say if damned commotion so appeared in his true native and most proper shape, you, reverend father, and these noble lords had not been here to dress the ugly form of base and bloody insurrection with your fair honors. You, Lord Archbishop, whose see is by a civil peace maintained, whose beard the silver hand of peace hath touched, whose learning and good letters peace hath tutored, whose white investments figure innocence, the dove and very blessed spirit of peace. Wherefore do you so ill translate yourself out of the speech of peace that bears such grace into the harsh and boisterous tongue of war, turning your books to graves, your ink to blood, your pens to lances, and your tongue divine to a loud trumpet and a point of war?
Wherefore do I this? So the question stands. Briefly, to this end, we are all diseased, and with our surfeiting and wanton hours, have brought ourselves into a burning fever, and we must bleed for it, of which disease our late King Richard, being infected, died. But my most noble lord of Westmoreland, I take not on me here as a physician, nor do I as an enemy to peace troop in the throngs of military men, but rather show a while, like a fearful war, to diet rank minds sick of happiness, and purge the obstructions which begin to stop our very veins of life. Hear me more plainly. I have an equal balance justly weighed what wrongs our arms may do, what wrongs we suffer, and find our griefs heavier than our offenses. We see which way the stream of time doth run, and are enforced from our most quiet there by the rough torrent of occasion, and have the summary of all our griefs, when time shall serve to show in articles, which long ere this we offered to the king, and might by no suit gain our audience. When we are wronged that would unfold our griefs, we are denied access unto his person, even by those men that most have done us wrong. The dangers of the days but newly gone, whose memory is written on the earth with yet appearing blood, and the examples of every minute's instance present now, hath put us in these ill-beseeming arms, not to break peace or any branch of it, but to establish here a peace indeed, concurring both in name and quality.
Whenever yet was your appeal denied? Wherein have you been galled by the king? What peer hath been stubborn to grate on you, that you should seal this lawless bloody book of forged rebellion with a seal divine and consecrate commotion's bitter edge?
My brother general, the Commonwealth, to brother born in household cruelty, I make my quarrel in particular.
There is no need of any such redress, or if there were, it not belongs to you.
Why not to him in part, and to us all that feel the bruises of the days before, and suffer the condition of these times to lay a heavy and unequal hand upon our honors?
O my good Lord Mowbray, construe the times to their necessities, and you shall see indeed it is the time, and not the king that doth you injuries. No, sorry. And you shall say indeed it is the time, and not the king that doth you injuries. Yet for your part it not appears to me, either from the king or in the present time, that you should have an inch of any ground to build a grief, that you should have an inch of any ground to build a grief on. Were you not restored to all the Duke of Norfolk's seigneuries, your noble and right well remembered fathers?
What thing in Arden had my father lost and need to be revived and breathed in me? The king that loved him as the state stood then was perforce compelled to banish him. And then that Henry Bolingbroke and he being mounted and both roused in their seats, their neighing coursers daring up to spur, their armored staves in charge, their beavers down, their eyes of fire sparkling through sights of steel, and a loud trumpet blowing them together. Then when there was nothing could have stayed my father from the breast of Bolingbroke. Oh, and the king did throw his water down, his own life hung upon the staff he threw, then threw him down himself, and all their lives that by indictment and by dint of sword have since miscarried under Bolingbroke.
You speak, Lord Mowbray. Now you know not what. The Earl of Hereford was reputed then to England the most valiant gentleman. Who knows on whom fortune would then have smiled? But if your father had been victor there, he ne'er had borne it out of Coventry. For all the country, in a general voice, cried hate upon him, and all their prayers and love were set on Hereford, whom they doted on and blessed and graced indeed more than the king. But this is mere digression from my purpose. Here come I from our princely general, to know your griefs, to tell you from his grace that he will give you audience, and wherein it shall appear that your demands are just, you shall enjoy them, everything set off that might so much as think you enemies.
But he hath forced us to compel this offer, and it proceeds from policy, not love.
Mowbray, you overween to take it so. This offer comes from mercy, not from fear. For lo, within a ken our army lies. Upon mine honor, all too confident to give admittance to a thought of fear. Our battle is more full of names than yours. Our men more perfect in use of arms. Our armor all strong as our cause the best. Then reason will our hearts should be as good. Say you not then our offer is compelled?
Well, by my will, we shall admit to no parley.
That argues but the shame of your offense. A rotten case abides no handling.
Hath the Prince John a full commission in very ample virtue of his father to hear and absolutely to determine what conditions we shall stand upon?
Nope, that is intended in the general's name. I muse you make so light a question.
Giving Westmoreland a paper.
Then take, my lord of Westmoreland, this schedule, for this contains our general grievances. Each several article herein redressed, all members of our cause, both here and hence that are insinuate to this action, equated by a true substantial form, and present execution of our wills. To us and to our purpose confined, we come within our awful banks again and knit our powers to the arm of peace.
This will I show the general. Please you, lords, inside of both our battles we may meet, and either end in peace, which God so frame, or to the place of difference called a sword, which must decide it.
My lord, we will do so.
Westmoreland exits.
There is a thing within my bosom tells me that no conditions of our peace can stand.
Fear you not that. If we can make our peace upon such large terms and so absolute as our conditions shall consist upon, our peace shall stand as firmly as rocky mountains.
Yea, but our valuation shall be such that every slight and false derived cause, yea, every idle, nice, and wanton reason shall to the king taste of this action, that were our royal fates martyrs in love, we shall be winnowed with so rough a wind that even our corn shall seem as slight as chaff, and good from bad find no partition.
No, my lord. Note this. The king is weary of dainty and such picking grievances, for he hath found to end one doubt by death, revives two greater in the airs of life, and therefore will he wipe his tables clean, and keep no telltale to his memory, that may repeat and history his loss to new remembrance. For full well he knows he cannot so precisely weed this land as his misdoubts present occasion. His foes are so enrooted with his friends that plucking the unfixed an enemy, he doth unfasten so and shake a friend. So that this land, like an offensive wife that hath enraged him unto the offer strokes, as he is striking, holds his infant up and hangs resolved correction in the arm. That was upreared to execution.
Besides, the king hath wasted all his rods on late offenders, that he now doth lack the very instruments of chastisement, so that his power, like a fangless lion, may offer but not hold.
'Tis very true. And therefore be assured, my good Lord Marshal, if we do now make our atonement well, our peace will, like a broken limb united, grow stronger for the breaking.
Be it so. Here is returned my lord of Westmoreland.
Enter Westmoreland.
Shit. Sorry, guys. I think I'm on the. Can you give me the number?
235.
235.
Page
I
157.
got you. I got it. Sorry. The prince is here at hand. Pleaseth your lordship to meet his grace, just distant between our armies.
Enter Prince John and his army.
Grace of York, in God's name, then set forward.
Before and greet his grace. My lord, we come.
All move forward. You are well encountered here, my cousin Mowbray. Good day to you, gentle Lord Archbishop, and so to you, Lord Hastings, and to all. My Lord of York, it better showed with you, when that your flock assembled by the bell encircled you to hear with reverence your exposition on the holy text, than now to see you here in an iron man talking, cheering a rout of rebels with your drum, and turning the word to sword and life to death. That man that sits within a monarch's heart and ripens in the sunshine of his favor, would he abuse the countenance of the king? Alack, what mischiefs might he set abroach in shadow of greatness? With you, Lord Bishop. Is it even so? Who hath not heard it spoken how deep you were within the books of God? To us, the speaker in his parliament, and to us, the imagined voice of God, were a very opener and intelligencer between the grace, the sanctities of heaven, and our dull workings. Oh, who shall believe but you misuse the reverence of your place, employ the countenance and grace of heaven, as a false favorite doth his prince's name in deeds dishonorable? You have taken up the uncounterfeited zeal of God, the subjects of his substitute, my father, and both against the peace of heaven and him have here upswarmed them.
Good, my lord of Lancaster, I have not here against your father's peace. But as I told my lord of Westmoreland, the time misorder doth in common sense crowd us and crush us to this monstrous form, to hold our safety up. I sent your grace the parcels and particulars of our grief, the which hath been with scorn shoved from the court, whereon this hydra son of war is born, whose dangerous eyes may well be charmed asleep with grant of our most just and right desires, and true obedience of this madness cured, stoop tamely to the foot of majesty.
If not, we ready are to try our fortunes to the last man.
Though we here fall down, we have supplies to second our attempt. If they miscarry, there shall second them, and so success of mischief shall be born, and heir from heir shall hold his quarrel up, whiles England shall have generation.
You are too shallow, Hastings, much too shallow to sound the bottom of the after times.
Pleaseth your grace to answer them directly, how far forth you do like their articles.
I like them all, and do allow them well, and swear here by the honor of my blood. My father's purposes have been mistook, and some about him have too lavishly wrested his meaning and authority. My lord, these griefs shall be with speed redressed. Upon my soul they shall. If this may please you, discharge your powers unto their several counties, as we will ours, and here between the armies let's drink together friendly and embrace, that all their eyes may bear those tokens home, and of our restored love and amity.
I take your princely word for these redresses.
I give it you, and will maintain my word, and thereupon I will drink into your grace. The leaders of both armies begin to drink together.
Go, captain, and deliver to the army this news of peace. Let them have pay and part. I know it will well please them. Aye, the captain.
Officer exits. Toasting Westmoreland.
To you, my noble lord of Westmoreland.
Returning the toast.
I pledge your grace. And if you knew what pains I have bestowed to breed this present peace, you would drink freely. But my love to you shall show itself more openly hereafter.
I do not doubt you.
I am glad of it. Health to my lord and gentle cousin Mowbray.
You wish me health and very happy season, for I am on the sudden something ill.
Against ill chances men are every...
Against ill chances.
Sorry.
Against ill chances men are ever merry, but heaviness foreruns the good event.
Therefore be merry, 'cause since sudden sorrow serves to say thus, some good thing comes tomorrow.
Believe me, I am passing light in spirit.
So much the worse if your own rule be true.
Shout within. The word of peace is rendered. Hark how they shout.
This had been cheerful after victory.
A peace is of nature of a conquest, for then both parties nobly are subdued and neither party loser.
Go, my lord, and let our army be discharged too. Westmoreland exits. And good my lord, so please you, let our trains march by us that we may peruse the men we should have coped withal.
Go, good Lord Hastings, and ere they be dismissed, let them march by.
Hastings exits. I trust, lords, we shall lie tonight together. Enter Westmoreland. Now, cousin, wherefore stands our army still?
Leaders, having charge from you to stand, will not go off until they hear you speak.
They know their duties. Enter Hastings.
My lord, our army is dispersed already. Like youthful steers unyoked, they take their courses east, west, north, south, or like a school broke up, each hurries toward his home and sporting place.
Good tidings, my lord Hastings, for the which I do arrest thee, traitor of high treason. And you, Lord Bishop, and you, Lord Mowbray, of capital treason I attach you both.
Is this proceeding just and honorable?
Is your assembly so?
Will you thus break your faith?
I pawned thee none. I promised you redress for these same grievances whereof you did complain, which, by mine honor, I will perform with a most Christian care. But for you, rebels, look to taste the due meet for rebellion, and such acts as yours. Most shallowly did you these arms commence, fondly brought here and foolishly sent hence. Strike up our drums, pursue the scattered stray. God, and not we, hath safely fought today. Some guard these traitors to the block of death, treason's true bed and yielder up of breath. They exit. Act 4, Scene 2. Falstaff meets a rebel knight who surrenders him. When Prince John reproaches Falstaff for his late arrival, Falstaff turns over his captive and requests permission to return to London by way of Gloucestershire. Scene 2. Alarum. Excursions. Enter Falstaff and Colville.
What's your name, sir? Of what condition are you, and of what place, I pray?
I am a knight, sir, and my name is Colville of the Dale.
Well then, Colville is your name. Knight is your degree, and your place the Dale. Colville shall be still your name, a traitor your degree, and the dungeon your place. A place deep enough, so shall you be still Colville of the Dale.
Are not you Sir John Falstaff?
As good a man as he, sir, where I am. Do you yield, sir, or shall I sweat for you? If I do sweat, they are the drops of thy lovers, and they weep for thy death. Therefore rouse up fear and trembling, and do observance to my mercy.
I think you are Sir John Falstaff, and in that thought yield me.
I have a whole school of tongues in this belly of mine, and not a tongue of them all speaks any other word but my name. And I had but a belly of any indifferency. I were simply the most active fellow in Europe. My womb undoes me. Here comes our general.
Enter John, Westmoreland, and the rest. The heat is past. Follow no further now. Call in the powers, good cousin Westmoreland. Westmoreland exits. Retreat is sounded. Now, Falstaff, where have you been all this while? When everything is ended, then you come. These tardy tricks of yours will, on my life, one time or other break some gallows back.
I would speak. No. Yeah. I would be sorry, my lord, but it should be thus. I never knew yet but rebuke the check was the reward of valor. Do you think me a swallow, an arrow, or a bullet? Have I in my poor and old motion and expedition of thought? I have speeded hither with the very extremest inch of possibility. I have foundered 90 and odd posts, and here, travel tamed as I am, have in my pure and immaculate valor taken Sir John Colville of the Dale, a most furious knight and valorous enemy. But what of that? He saw me and yielded, that I may justly say with the hook-nosed fellow of Rome, there, cousin, I came, saw, and overcame.
It was more of his courtesy than your deserving.
I know not. Here he is, and here I yield him. And I beseech your grace, let it be booked with the rest of this day's deeds, or by the Lord I will have it in a particular ballad else, with mine own picture on the top on't, Colville kissing my foot, to the which course I will be enforced. If I be enforced, if you do not all show like guilt 2 pence to me, and I in the clear sky of fame or shine you as much as the full moon doth the cinders of the element, which shows like pins' heads to her, believe not the word of the noble. Therefore let me have right, and let desert mount.
Thine's too heavy to mount.
Let it shine, then.
Thine's too thick to shine.
Let it do something, my good lord, that may do me good, and call it what you will.
Is thy name Colville?
It is, my lord.
Famous rebel art thou, Colville.
And a famous true subject took him.
I am, my lord, but as my betters are, that led me hither. Had they been ruled by me, you should have won them dearer than you have.
I know not how they sold themselves, but thou, like a kind fellow, gavest thyself away gratis, and I thank thee for thee.
Enter Westmoreland. Now, have you left pursuit?
Retreat is made and execution stayed.
Send Colville with his confederates to York to present execution. Blunt, lead him hence, and see you guard him sure. Blunt exits with Colville. And now dispatch we toward the court, my lords. I hear the king, my father, is sore sick. Our news shall go before us to his majesty, which, cousin, you shall bear to comfort him, and we with sober speed will follow you.
My lord, I beseech you give me leave to go through Gloucestershire, and when you come to court, stand, my good lord, pray in your good report.
Fare you well, Falstaff. I, in my condition, shall better speak of you than you deserve. All but Falstaff exit.
I would you had but the wit. 'Twere better than your dukedom. Good faith, this same young sober-blooded boy doth not love me, nor man cannot make him laugh. But that's no marvel. He drinks no wine. There's never none of these demure boys come to any proof. For thin drink doth so overcool their blood, and making many fish meals, that they fall into a kind of male green sickness. And then, when they marry, they get wenches. They are generally fools and cowards, which some of us should be too, but for inflammation. And good Sheriff's sack hath a two-folded operation in it. It ascends me into the brain, dries me there all the foolish and dull and crudy vapors which environ it, makes it apprehensive, quick, forgetative, full of nimble, fiery, and delectable shapes, which delivered o'er to the voice, the tongue, which is the birth, becomes excellent wit. The second property of your excellent sheriffs is the warming of the blood, which, before cold and settled, left the liver white and pale, which is the badge of pusillanimity and cowardice. but the Sherris warms it and makes it course from the inwards to the parts extremes. It illumineth the face, which as a beacon gives warming to all the rest of this little kingdom. Man to arm, and then the vital commoners and inland petty spirits muster me all to their captain, the heart, who, great and puffed up with this retinue, doth any deed of and coverage, and this valor comes of Sherris, so that skill in the weapon is nothing without sack, for that sets it a work, and learning a mere hoard of gold kept by a devil till sack commences it, and sets it in act and use. Hereof comes it that Prince Harry is valiant, for the cold blood he did naturally inherit of his father he hath, like lean, sterile, and bare land, manured, husbanded, and tilled with excellent endeavor, of drinking good and good store, of fertile Sherris, that he has become very hot and valiant. If I had 1,000 sons, the first human principle I would teach them should be to forswear thin potations and to addict themselves to sack.
Enter Bardolph.
Go now, Bardolph.
The army is discharged all and gone.
Let them go. All through Gloucestershire, and there will I visit Master Robert Shallow, Esquire. I have him already tempering between my finger and my thumb, and shortly will I steal with him. Come away.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 3. Just after receiving the good news about the defeat of all the rebel forces, Henry IV falls into a swoon. Prince Hal, sitting at the king's bedside, thinks him dead and takes the crown. The king berates him. Hal explains and apologizes, and peace is made between them. The king is taken to Jerusalem chamber to die. Scene 3. Enter the king in a chair. Warwick, Thomas, Duke of Clarence, Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester, and attendants. Now, lords, if God doth give successful end to this debate that bleedeth at our doors, we will our youth lead on to higher fields, and draw no swords but what are sanctified. Our navy is addressed, our power collected, our substitutes in absence well invested, and everything lies level to our wish. Only we want a little personal strength, and pause us till these rebels now afoot come underneath the yoke of government.
Both which we doubt not, but your majesty shall soon enjoy.
Humphrey, my son of Gloucester, where is he? Where is the prince, your brother?
I think he's gone to hunt, my lord, at Windsor.
And how accompanied?
I don't know, my lord.
Is not his brother Thomas of Clarence with him?
No, my good lord, he is in presence here. Oh, that's your line.
No, my good lord, he is in presence here.
Coming forward.
What would my lord and father?
Nothing but well to thee, Thomas of Clarence. How chance thou art not with the prince, thy brother? He loves thee, and thou dost neglect him. Thomas, thou hast a better place in his affection than all thy brothers. Cherish it, my boy, and noble offices thou mayst effect of mediation, of meditation after I am dead. Between his greatness and thy other brethren, therefore omit him not, blunt not his love, nor lose the good advantage of his grace, by seeming cold or careless of his will. For he is gracious if he be observed. He hath a tear for pity, and a hand as open as day for melting charity. Not yet notwithstanding, being incensed he is flint, as humorous as winter, and as sudden as flaws congealed in the spring of day. His temper, therefore, must be well observed. Chide him for faults, and do it reverently, when you perceive his blood inclined to mirth. But being moody, give him time and scope, till that his passions, like a whale on ground, confound themselves with working. Learn this, Thomas, and thou shalt prove a shelter to thy friends, a hoop of gold to bind thy brothers in, and the united vessel of their blood, mingled with venom of suggestion. As force perforce the age will pour it in, shall never leak, though it do work as strong as aconitum, or rash gunpowder.
I shall observe him with all care and love.
Why art thou not at Windsor with him, Thomas?
He is not here today. He dies in London.
And how accompanied, canst thou tell that?
With Poins and other his continual followers.
Most subject is the fattest soil to weeds, and he, the noble image of my youth, is overspread with them. Therefore my grief stretches itself beyond the hour of death. The blood weeps from my heart when I do shape in forms imaginary the unguided days, the rotten times that you shall look upon when I am sleeping with my ancestors. For when his headstrong riot hath no curb, when rage and hot blood are his counselors, when means the lavish manners meet together, oh, with what wings shall his affections fly towards fronting peril and opposed decay?
Gracious Lord, you look beyond him quite. The prince but studies his companions like a strange tongue, wherein to gain the language 'tis needful that the most immodest word be looked upon and learned, which, once attained, your highness knows comes to no further use but to be known and hated. So, like gross terms, the prince will, in the perfectness of time, cast off his followers, and their memory shall as a pattern or a measure live, by which his grace must meet the lives of others, turning past evils to advantages.
'Tis seldom when the bee doth leave her comb in the dead carrion. Enter Westmoreland. Who's here, Westmoreland?
Health to my sovereign, and new happiness added to that I am to deliver. Prince John, your son, doth kiss your grace's hand. Mowbray, the Bishop Scroop, Hastings, and all are bought to the correction of your law. There is not now a rebel's sword unsheathed, but peace puts forth her olive everywhere. The manner how this action hath been borne here at more leisure may your highness read, with every course in his particular.
He gives the king a paper. Oh, Westmoreland, thou art a summer bird, which ever in the haunch of winter sings the uplifting of day. Enter Harcourt. Look, here's more news.
From enemies, heavens keep your majesty, and when they stand against you, may they fall as those that I am once come to tell you of. The Earl Northumberland and the Lord Bordolph, with a great power of English and of Scots, are by the strife of Yorkshire overthrown. The manner and true order of the fight. This packet, please it you, contains a large.
He gives the king papers. And wherefore should these good news make me sick? Will fortune never come with both hands full, but write her fair words still in foulest letters? She either gives a stomach and no food, such are the poor in health, or else a feast and takes away the stomach, such are the rich, that have abundance and enjoy it not. I should rejoice now at this happy news, and now my sight fails and my brain is giddy. Oh me! Come near me, how much now I am much ill.
Comfort, your majesty.
Oh, my royal father.
My sovereign lord, cheer up yourself, look up. Be patient, princes. You do know these fits are with his highness very ordinary. Stand from him, give him air, he'll straight be well.
No, he cannot long hold out these pangs. The incessant care and labor of his mind has wrought the mure that should confine it in, so thin that life looks through and will break out.
The people fear me, for they do observe unfathered heirs and loathly births of nature. The seasons changed their manners as the year had found some months asleep and leaped them over.
The river hath thrice flowed, no ebb between, and the old folk, time's doting chronicles, say it did so a little time before, but our great grandsire Edward sick and died.
Speak lower, princes, for the king recovers.
This apoplexy will certain be his end.
I pray you, take me up and bear me hence into some other chamber. Softly pray. The king is carried to a bed on another part of the stage. Let there be no noise made, my gentle friends, unless some dull and favorable hand will whisper music to my weary spirit.
Call for the music in the other room.
Set me the crown upon my pillow here. The crown is placed on the bed.
His eye is hollow, and he changes much.
Noise, less noise.
Enter Prince Harry.
Who saw the Duke of Clarence?
I am here, brother, full of heaviness.
How now? Reign within doors and none abroad? How doth the king?
Exceeding ill.
Hear ye the good news yet? Tell it him.
He altered much upon the hearing it.
If he be sick with joy, he'll recover without physic.
Not so much noise, my lords. Sweet prince, speak low.
Still you, babe.
Shit, what line? The king, your father, is disposed to sleep.
Let us withdraw into the other room.
Wilt please your grace to go along with us?
No, I will sit and watch here by the king.
All but Prince and King exit.
Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? Oh, polished perturbation, golden care that keeps the ports of slumber open wide to many a watchful night. Sleep with it now, yet not so sound and half so deeply sweet as he whose brow with homely big and bound snores out the watch of night. O Majesty, when thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armor worn in heat of day, that scalds with safety. By his gates of breath there lies a downy feather which stirs not. Did he suspire? That light and weightless down perforce must move. My gracious lord, my father, this sleep is sound indeed. This is a sleep that from this golden wriggle hath divorced so many English kings. Thy due for me is tears and heavy sorrows of the blood which nature, love, and filial tenderness shall pay plenteously. Me is this imperial crown, which, as immediate from thy place in blood, derives itself to me.
He puts on the crown.
Lo, where it sits, which God shall guard, and put the world's whole strength into one giant arm, it shall not force this lineal honor from me. This from thee will I to mine leave, as 'tis left to me.
He exits with the crown, rising up from his bed. Warwick, Gloucester, Clarence! Enter Warwick, Gloucester, Clarence, and others.
Does the king call?
What would your majesty? How fares your grace?
Why did you leave me here alone, my lords?
We left the prince, my brother, here, my liege, who undertook to sit and watch by you.
The Prince of Wales? Where is he? Let me see him. He is not here.
This door is open. He is gone this way.
He came not through the chamber where we stayed.
Where's the crown? Who took it from my pillow?
When he withdrew, my liege, we left it here.
The prince hath taken it.
When we withdrew, my liege, we left it here.
The prince hath taken it hence. Go seek him out. Is he so hasty that he doth suppose my sleep, death? Find him, my lord Warwick. Chide him hither. Warwick exits. As part of his conjoins with my disease and helps to end me. See, sons, what things you are. How quickly nature falls into revolt when gold becomes her object. For this, the foolish, over-careful fathers have broke their sleep with thoughts, their brains with care, their bones with industry. For this, they have engrossed and piled up the cankered heaps of strange achieved gold. For this, they have been thoughtful to invest their sons with arts and martial exercises, when, like the bee tolling from every flower the virtuous sweets, our thighs packed with wax, our mouths with honey, we bring it to the hive, and like the bees are murdered for our pains. This bitter taste yields his engrossments to the ending father. Enter Warwick. Now where is he that will not stay so long till his friend's sickness hath determined me?
My lord, I found the prince in the next room, washing with kindly tears his gentle cheeks, with such a deep demeanor in great sorrow that tyranny, which never quaffed but blood, would, by beholding him, have washed his knife with gentle eye drops. He is coming hither.
But wherefore did he take away the crown? Enter Prince Harry with the crown. Lo, here he comes. Come hither to me, Harry. Depart the chamber, leave us here alone. Gloucester, Clarence, Warwick, and others exit.
I never thought to hear you speak again.
Thy wish was father, Harry. To that thought, I stay too long by thee, I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for mine empty chair, thou wilt needs invest thee with my honors before thy hour be ripe? Oh, foolish youth, thou seekst the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which after some few hours were thine without offense, and at my death thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hidst 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, whom thou hast wedded to thy stony heart, to stab half an hour of my life. What, canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone and dig my grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ears that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me with forgotten dust. Give that which gave thee life unto the worms, pluck down my officers, break my decrees. For now a time is come to mock it form. Harry the Fifth is crowned. Up vanity, down royal state, all you sage counsellors hence. And to the English court assemble now, from every region apes of idleness. Now, neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sins in the newest kind of waste? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall double gild his treble guilt. England shall give him office, honour, might. For the 5th Harry from curbed license plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth on every innocent. Oh, my poor kingdom, sick with civil blows. When that my care could not withhold thy riots, wilt thou do? What wilt thou do when the riot is thy care? Oh, that thou wilt be a wilderness again, peopled with wolves, thy old inhabitants. Placing the crown on the pillow.
Oh, pardon me, my liege, but for my tears the moist impediments unto my speech, I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke ere you with grief had spoke, and I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown immortally, long guard it yours.
He kneels.
If I affect it more than as your honor and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most inward, true, and duteous spirit teacheth this prostrate and exterior bending. God witness with me, when I here came in and found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, I think you were. I spake unto this crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore thou, best of gold, art worst of gold. Other, less fine and carat, is more precious, preserving life and medicine potable. But thou, most fine, most honored, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up. Thus, my most royal liege, accusing it, I put it on my head to try with it, as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father, the quarrel of a true inheritor. But if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did with the least affection of a welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let God forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is that doth with awe and terror kneel to it.
Oh, my son, God put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightest win the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry, sit thou by my bed, and hear, I think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. The prince rises from his knees and sits near the bed. God knows, my son, by what bypaths and indirect crooked ways I met this crown, and I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with better quiet, better opinion, better confirmation, for all the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but an honor snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many livings to upbraid. I gain of it by their assistances, which daily grew to quarrel and to bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. All these bold fears, thou seest with peril, I have answered. For all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument. And now my death changes the mood, for what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more fairer sort. So thou the garland wearest successively, yet thou standest more sure than I could do. Thou art not firm enough, since griefs are green, and all my friends, which thou must make thy friends, have but their stings the teeth newly taken out, by whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I well might lodge a fear to be displaced again, which to avoid I cut them off, and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, lest rest and lying still might make them look too near unto my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels. That action hence borne out may waste the memory of the former days. More would I, but my lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, O God forgive me, and grant it may with thee in true peace live.
My gracious liege, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me. Then plain and right must my possession be, which I with more than with a common pain against all the world will rightfully maintain.
Enter John of Lancaster and others. Look, here comes my John of Lancaster. Health, peace, and happiness to my royal father. Thou bringst me happiness and peace, son John, but health, alack, with youthful wings is flown from this bare withered trunk. Upon thy sight my worldly business makes a period. Where is my Lord of Warwick?
My Lord of Warwick.
Enter Warwick. Doth any name particular belong unto the lodging where I first did swoon?
'Tis called Jerusalem, my noble lord.
Laud be to God. Even there my life must end. It hath been prophesied to me many years I should die. I should not die but in Jerusalem, which vainly I suppose the Holy Land. But bear me to that chamber. There I'll lie. In that Jerusalem shall Harry die. They exit. Act 5, Scene 1. Falstaff observes Shallow and his servants in order to be ready to entertain Prince Hal with amusing stories. Scene 1. Enter Shallow, Falstaff, Page, and Bardolph.
By cock and pie, sir, you shall not away tonight. What Davy, I say?
You must excuse me, Master Robert Shallow.
I will not excuse you. You shall not be excused. Excuses shall not be admitted. There is no excuse shall serve. You shall not be excused. Why, Davy?
Enter Davy.
Here, sir.
Davy, let me see. Davy, let me see. Davy, let me see. Yea, marry William Cook, bid him come hither. Sir John, you shall not be excused.
Marry, sir, those precepts cannot be served. And again, sir, shall we sow the hayed land with wheat?
With red wheat, Davy. But for William Cook, are there no young pigeons?
Yes, sir. Here is now the smith note for shoeing and plough irons.
He gives Shallow a paper.
Let it be cast and paid. Sir John, you shall not be excused.
Now, sir, a new link to the bucket must needs be had. And, sir, do you mean to stop any of William's wages about the sack he lost the other day at Hinckley Fair?
He shall answer it. Some pigeons. Davy, a couple of short-legged hens, a joint of mutton, and any pretty little tiny kickshaws. Tell William Cook.
Shallow and Davy walk aside.
Doth the man of war stay all night, sir?
Yea, Davy, I will use him well. A friend in the court is better than a penny in purse. Use his men well, Davy, for they are as knaves and will bite.
No worse than they are backbiting, sir. They have marvelous full linen.
Well conceded, Davy. About thy business, Davy.
I beseech you, sir, to countenance William Vicer of Woncott against Clement Hercus of the Hill.
There is many complaints, Davy, against that Visor. That Visor is an arrant knave on my knowledge.
I grant your worship that he is a knave, sir, but yet, God forbid, sir, but a knave should have some countenance at his friend's request. An honest man, sir, is able to speak for himself when a knave is not. I have served your worship truly, sir, this 8 years, and I cannot once or twice in a quarter bear out a knave against an honest man. I have but a very little credit with your worship. The knave is mine honest friend, sir. Therefore, I beseech you, let him be countenanced.
Go to, I say, he shall have no wrong. Look about, Davy.
Davy exits.
Where are you, Sir John? Come, 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 off with your boots. Give me your hand, Master Bardolph.
I am glad to see your worship.
I thank thee with all my heart, kind Master Bardolph. And welcome, my tall fellow. Come, Sir John.
I'll follow you, good master, Robert Shallow. Bardolph, look to our horses. If I were sawed into quantities, I should make 4 dozen of such bearded hermits' staves as Master Shallow. It is a wonderful thing to see the semblable coherence of his men's spirits and his. They, by observing of him, do bear themselves like foolish justices. He, by conversing with them, is turned into a justice-like serving man. Their spirits are so married in conjunction with the participation of society that they flock together in consent like so many wild geese. If I had a suit to Master Shallow, I would humor his men with the imputation of being near their master. If to his men, I would curry with Master Shallow that no man could better command his servants. It is certain that either wise-bearing or ignorant carriage is caught, as men take diseases one of another. Therefore, let men take heed of their company. I will devise matter enough out of this Shallow to keep Prince Harry in continual laughter in the wearing out of 6 fashions, which is 4 turns or 2 actions, and he shall laugh without intervallums. Oh, it is much that a lie with a slight oath and a jest with a sad brow will do with a fellow that never had the ache in his shoulders. Oh, you shall see him laugh till his face be like a wet cloak ill laid up.
Sir John!
I come, Master Shallow! I come, Master Shallow!
He exits. Act 5, Scene 2. Prince Hal assures an anxious Lord Chief Justice. Scene 2. Enter Warwick and Lord Chief Justice.
How now, my Lord Chief Justice, whither away?
How does the king?
Exceeding well. His cares are now all ended.
I hope not dead.
He's walked the way of nature, and to our purposes he lives no more.
I would his majesty had called me with him. The service that I truly did his life has left me open to all injuries.
Indeed, I think the young king loves you not.
I know he does not, and do arm myself to welcome the condition of the time, which cannot look more hideously upon me than I have drawn it in my fantasy.
Here come
Enter John, Thomas, and Humphrey.
Here come the heavy issue of dead Harry. Oh, that the living Harry had the temper of he the worst of these 3 gentlemen. How many nobles then should hold their places that must strike sail to spirits of vile sort?
Oh God, I fear all will be overturned.
Good morrow, Cousin Warwick. Good morrow.
Good morrow, cousin.
Moral cousin.
Good cousin. Sorry, cat. What line were we?
We meet like men.
Thank you. We meet like men that had forgot to speak.
We do remember, but our argument is all too heavy to admit much talk.
Well, peace be with him that hath made us heavy.
Peace be with us, lest we be heavier.
Oh, good, my lord. You have lost a friend indeed, and I dare swear you borrow not that face of seeming sorrow. It is sure your own.
Though no man be assured of what grace to find, you stand in coldest expectation. I am the sorrier, would 'twere otherwise.
Well, you must now speak Sir John False Affair, which swims against your stream of quality. Sweet princess, what I did in honor, led by the impartial conduct of my soul, and never shall you see that I will beg a ragged and forestalled remission. If truth and upright innocency fail me, I'll do the king my master that is dead, and tell him who hath sent me after him.
Enter the prince as Henry V and Blunt.
Here comes the prince.
Good morrow, and God save your majesty.
This new and gorgeous garment, majesty, sits not so easy on me as you may think. Brothers, you mixed your sadness with some fear. This is the English, not the Turkish court, not Amurath, and Amurath succeeds, but Harry. It be sad, good brothers, for by my faith it very well becomes you. Sorrow so royally in you appears that I will deeply put the fashion on and wear it in my heart. Why then be sad? But entertain no more of it, good brothers, than a joint burden laid upon us all. For me, by heaven, I bid you be assured, I'll be your father and your brother too. Let me but bear your love, I'll bear your cares. Yet weep that Harry's dead, and so will I. But Harry lives that shall convert those tears by number into hours of happiness.
We do hope no otherwise from your majesty.
You all look strangely on me, and you most. You are, I think, assured I love you not.
I am assured, if I be measured rightly, your majesty hath no just cause to hate me.
No? How might a prince of my great hopes forget so great indignities you laid upon me? What, rate, rebuke, and roughly send to prison the immediate heir of England? Was this easy? May this be washed in Lethe and forgotten?
I then did use the person of your father. The image of his power lay then in me, and in the administration of his law, whilst I was busy for the commonwealth, your highness pleased to forget my place. The majesty and power of law and justice, the image of the king whom I presented and struck me in my very seat of judgment. Whereon, as an offender to your father, I gave bold way to my authority and did commit you. If the deed were ill, be you contented, wearing now the garland, to have a song set your decrees at naught? To pluck down justice from your awful bench, to trip the course of law, and blunt the sword that guards the peace and safety of your person? Nay, more, to spurn at your most royal image and mock your workings in a second body? Question your royal thoughts, make the case yours. Be now the father and propose a son. Hear your own dignity so much profaned. See your most dreadful law so loosely slighted. Behold yourself so by a son disdained, and then imagine me taking your part, and in your powers soft silencing your son. After this cold considerance, sentence me, and as you are a king, speak in your state that I have done that misbehaved my place, my person, or my liege's sovereignty.
You are right, Justice, and you weigh this well. Therefore, still bear the balance and the sword. And I do wish your honors may increase till you do live to see a son of mine offend you and obey you as I did. So shall I live to speak my father's words. Happy am I that have a man so bold that dares do justice on my proper son, and not less happy having such a son that would deliver up his greatness so into the hands of justice. You did commit me, for which I do commit into your hand the unstained sword that you have used to bear, with this remembrance, that you use the same with the like bold, just, and impartial spirit as you have done against me. There is my hand.
They clasp hands. Stop.
You shall be as a father to my youth. My voice shall sound as you do, prompt mine ear, and I will stoop and humble my intents to your well-practiced wise directions. And princes all, believe me, I beseech you. My father is gone wild into his grave, for in his tomb lie my affections, and with his spirit sadly I survive to mock the expectation of the world, to frustrate prophecies, and to raise out rotten opinion, who hath ripped me down after my seeming. The tide of blood in me hath proudly flowed in vanity till now. Now doth it turn and ebb back to the sea, where it shall mingle with the state of floods and flow henceforth into formal majesty. Now call we our high court of parliament, and let us choose such limbs of noble counsel that the great body of our state may go in equal rank with the best governed nation, that war or peace or both at once may be as things acquainted and familiar to us, in which you, Father, shall have foremost hand. Our coronation done, we will ascite, as I before remembered, all our state. And God consigning to my good intents, no prince nor peer shall have just cause to say God shorten Harry's happy life one day.
They exit Act 5, Scene 3. On the joyful news of Henry the Fourth's death, Falstaff... Oh, on the joyful news. My bad dyslexia. On the news of Henry IV's death, Falstaff and Shallow set off joyfully for London. Scene 3. Enter Sir John Falstaff, Shallow, Silence, Davy, Bardolph, and Page.
Nay, you shall see my orchard, where in an arbor we will eat at last year's pippin of mine own grafing, with a dish of caraways and so forth. Come, cousin Silence, and then to bed.
For good. You have here a goodly dwelling and a rich.
Baron, 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 beggars all, Sir John. Marry good air, spread, Davy, spread, Davy. Well said, Davy.
This Davy serves you for good uses. He is your serving man and your husband.
A good varlet, a very good varlet, Sir John. By the mass, I have drunk too much sack at supper. A good varlet. Now sit down. Come, cousin.
Ah, sirrah, quoth he, we shall, I'm not singing, do nothing but eat and make good cheer, and praise God for the merry year, when flesh is cheap and females dear, and lusty lads roam here and there, so merrily, and ever among so merrily.
There's a merry heart. Good Master Silence. I'll give you a health for that anon.
Give Master Bardolph some wine, Davy.
Sweet sir, sit. I'll be with you anon. Most sweet sir, sit. Master Page, good Master Page, sit. Coface, what you want in meat, we'll have in drink, but you must bear the hearts all.
He exits.
Be merry, Master Bardolph. And my little soldier there, be merry.
Be merry, my wife has all, for women are shrews both short and tall. 'Tis merry in hall when beards wags all, and welcome merry Shrovetide. Be merry, be merry.
I did not think Master Silence had been a man of this mettle.
Who, I? I have been married twice and once ere now.
Enter Davy.
There's a dish of leather coats for you.
Davy!
Your worship, I'll be with you straight. A cup of wine, sir.
A cup of wine that's brisk and fine, and drink unto thee, lemon mine, and a merry heart lives long, eh?
Well said, Master Silence.
And we shall be merry, now comes in the sweet o' the night.
Health and long life to you, Master Silence.
Fill the cup and let it come. I'll pledge you a mile to the bottom.
Honest Bardolph, welcome. If thou wantst anything and wilt not call beshrew thy heart. Welcome, my little tiny thief, and welcome indeed too. I'll drink to Master Bardolph and to all the caballeros about London.
I hope to see London once ere I die.
I might see you there, Davy.
By the mass, you'll crack a quart together. Ha! Will you not, Master Bardolph?
Yea, sir, in a pottle pot.
By God's liggins, I thank thee. The knave will stick by thee, I can assure thee that. He will not out, he is true bred.
And I'll stick by him, sir.
Why, there spoke a king, lack nothing. Be merry.
One knocks at the door.
Look who's at door. There ho! Who knocks?
Davy exits.
Why, now you have done me right.
Do me right and dub me knight, Samingo. Is it not so?
'Tis so.
Is it so? Why then, say an old man can do somewhat.
Enter Davy.
And please, your worship, there's one pistol come from the court with news.
Fuck me. From the court, let him come in. How now, pistol?
Sir John, God save you.
What wind blew you hither, pistol?
Not ill the wind which blows no man to good. Sweet knight, thou art now one of the greatest men in this realm.
By Our Lady, I think he be, but Goodman Puff of Barson.
Puff in thy teeth for most recreant coward base. Sir John, I am thy pistol and thy friend, and helter-skelter have I rode to thee, and tidings do I bring, and lucky joys, and golden times, and happy news of price.
I pray thee now, deliver them like a man of this world.
A foutre for the world and worldlings base. I speak of Africa and golden joys.
Oh, base Assyrian knight, what is thy news? Let King Cophetua know the truth thereof.
And Robin Hood, Scarlet, and John.
Shall dunghill curs confront the Helicans, and shall good news be baffled? Then, pistol, lay thy head in Fury's lap.
Honest gentlemen, I know not your breeding.
Why then lament therefore?
Give me pardon, sir, if, sir, you come with news from the court. I take it there is but two ways, either to utter them or to conceal them. I am, sir, under the king in some authority.
Under which king, Bessonian, speak or die?
Under King Harry.
Harry the fourth or fifth?
Harry the Fourth.
A foutre for thine office. Sir John, thy tender lambkin is now king. Harry the fifth's the man. I speak the truth. When pistol lies, do this and fig me like the bragging Spaniard.
Pistol
What?
makes a fig.
Is the old king dead?
And nail and door, the things I speak are just.
Away, Bardolph, saddle my horse. Master Robert Shallow, choose what office thou wilt in the land. 'Tis thine. Pistol, I will double charge thee with dignities.
Oh, joyful day! I would not take a knighthood for my fortune.
What? I do bring good news.
Carry Master Silence to bed. Master Shallow, my lord Shallow, be what thou wilt. I am Fortune's steward. Get on thy boots. We'll ride all night. Oh, sweet Pistol. Away, Bardolph. Come, Pistol, utter more to me, and withal devise something to do thyself good. Boot, boot, Master Shallow. I know the young king is sick for me. Let us take any man's horses. The laws England are at my commandment. Blessed are they that have been my friends, and woe to my Lord Chief Justice.
Let vultures spile seize on his lungs also. Where is the life that late I led, say they? Where here, why, here it is. Welcome these pleasant days.
They exit Act 5, Scene 4. Doll Tearsheet is arrested. Enter hostess quickly, Doll Tearsheet and Beetles. No, thou errant knave, I would to God that I might die, that I might have thee hanged. Thou hast drawn my shoulder out of joint.
The constables have delivered her over to me, and she shall have whip and cheer enough. I warned her. There has been a man or two lately killed about her.
Nuthook, you lie! Come on, I'll tell thee what, thou damned, stripe-vicious rascal, and this child I now go with do miscarry, thou wert better do hast, and the child I now go with do miscarry, thou wert better, thou hast struck thy mother, thou paper-faced villain.
Oh, the Lord that Sir John were come, I would make this a bloody day to somebody, but I pray God the fruit of her womb might miscarry.
If it do, you shall have a dozen of cushions again. You have but 11 now. Come, I charge you both go with me, for the man is dead that you and Pistol beat amongst you.
I'll tell you what, you thin man in a censer, I will have you as soundly swinged for this, you blue-bottle rogue, you filthy famished correctioner. If you be not swinged, I forswear half curls.
Come, you she-knight errants, come.
Oh, God, that right should thus... Oh, God, that right should thus overcome might. Well, of sufferance comes ease.
Come, you rogue, come, bring me to justice.
Aye, come, you starved bloodhound.
Good man, death, good man, bones.
Thou, a Tommy, thou.
Come, you thin thing, come, you rascal.
Very well.
They exit Act 5, Scene 5. The newly crowned King Henry keeps his word to the Lord Chief Justice. Scene 5. Enter two grooms. More
rushes, more rushes.
The trumpets have sounded twice.
'Twill be 2 o'clock ere they come from the coronation. Dispatch! Dispatch!
Grooms exit. Trumpets sound and the king and his train pass over the stage. After them enter Falstaff, Shallow, Pistol, Bardolph, and the page.
All right. Stand here by me, Master Robert Shallow. I will make the king do you grace. I will leer upon him as he comes by, and do but mark the countenance that he will give me. God bless. Nope.
Bless thy lungs, good night.
Come here, Pistol. Stand behind me. Oh, if I had time to have made new liveries, I would have bestowed the £1,000 I borrowed of you. But 'tis no matter. This poor show doth better. This doth infer the zeal I had to see him.
It doth so.
It shows my earnestness of affection.
It doth so.
My devotion.
It doth, it doth, it doth.
As it were to ride day and night, not to deliberate, not to remember, not to have patience to shift me.
It is best certain.
But to stand tamed with travel and sweating with desire to see him, thinking of nothing else, putting all affairs else in oblivion, as if there were nothing else to do, else to be done but to see him.
Is semper et amo, for obseque hoc nihil est. 'Tis all in every part.
'Tis so indeed.
My knight, I will inflame thy noble liver, and make thee rage. Thy doll and Helen of thy noble thoughts is in base durance and contagious prison, haled thither by most mechanical and dirty hand. Rouse up revenge from even den with fell Electo's snake, for doll is in. Pistol speaks not but truth.
I will deliver her.
Shouts within. The trumpet sounds.
There roared the sea, and trumpet clangor sounds.
Enter the king and his train.
God save thy grace, King Hal, my royal Hal!
Heavens thee guard and keep, most royal imp of fame.
God save thee, my sweet boy.
My lord Chief Justice, speak to that vain man.
Have you your wits? Know you what is you speak?
My king, my Jove, I speak to thee, my heart.
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How ill white hairs becomes a fool and jester. I have long dreamt of such a kind of man, of surfeit swelled, so old and so profane. But being awaked, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence, and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. No, the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men. Reply not to me with a full-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was, for God doth know, so shall the world perceive, that I have turned away my former self. So will I those that kept my company. When thou dost hear I am as I have been, approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then I banish thee, on pain of death, as I have done the rest of my misleaders, not to come near our person by 10 mile. For competence of life I will allow you, that lack of means enforce you not to evils, and as we hear you do reform yourselves, we will, according to your strengths and qualities, give you advancement. Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenor of my word. Set on.
King and his train exit.
Master Shallow, I owe you £1,000.
Yea, marry Sir John, which I beseech you to let me have home with me.
That can hardly be, Master Shallow. Do not you grieve at this? I shall be sent for in private to him. Look you, he must seem thus to the world. Fear not your advancements. I will be the man yet that shall make you great.
I cannot well perceive how, unless you should give me your doublet and stuff me out with straw. I beseech you, good Sir John, let me have 500 of my 1,000.
Sir, I will be as good as my word, that this you heard was but a color.
A color that I fear you will die in, Sir John.
Fear no colors. Go with me to dinner. Come, Lieutenant Pistol. Come, Bardolph. I shall be sent for soon of night.
Enter the Lord Chief Justice and Prince John with officers.
Go, carry Sir John Falstaff to the fleet. Take all his company along with him.
My lord, my lord.
I cannot now speak. I will hear you soon. Take them away.
Y fortuna me tormenta, spero me contenta.
All but John of Lancaster and Chief Justice exit.
I like this fair proceeding of the king's. He hath intent his wonted followers shall all be very well provided for, but are all banished till their conversations appear more wise and modest to the world.
And so they are.
The king hath called his parliament, my lord.
He hath.
I will lay odds that ere this year expire, we will bear our civil swords and native fire as far as France. I heard a bird so sing, whose music to my thinking pleased the king. Come, will you hence?
They exit. Epilogue! The speaker apologizes for the play and promises another play with Falstaff in it. First, my fear, then my curtsy, last my speech. My fear is your displeasure, my curtsy, my duty, and my speech, to beg your pardons. If you look for a good speech now, you undo me, and for what I have to say is of mine own making, and what indeed I should say will, I doubt, prove mine own marring. But to the purpose, and so to the venture, be it known to you, as it is very well, I was lately here in the end of a displeasing play to pray your patience for it, and to promise you a better. I meant indeed to pay you with this, which, if like an ill venture it come unluckily home, I break, and you, my gentle creditors, lose. Here I promised you I would be, and here I commit my body to your mercies. Bait me some, and I will pay you some, and, as most debtors do, promise you infinitely. And so I kneel down before you, but indeed to pray for the queen. If my tongue cannot entreat you to acquit me, will you command me to use my legs? And yet that were but light payment to dance out your debt, but a good conscience will make any possible satisfaction. And so would I. All the gentlewomen here have forgiven me. If the gentlemen will not, then the gentlemen do not agree with the gentlewomen, which was never seen before in such an assembly. One word more, I beseech you. If you be not too much cloyed with fat meat, our humble author will make continue the story of Sir John in it, and make you marry with fair Catherine of France, where, for anything I know, Falstaff shall die of a sweat, unless he already be killed with your hard opinions. For an old castle died a martyr, and this is not the man. My tongue is weary, when my legs are too. I will bid you good night.